क्या बोलते हैं
क्या
वो आरकाना जीता मैं गिव अवे में मेरे को दिया ही नहीं अभी तक आरकाना
तू बोला क्या उसको
हाँ बोला मैं उसको मतलब उसके YouTube के साइट पे बोला मैं अभी
हाँ हाँ
उसने ऐड भी किया मेरे को बट दिया नहीं पूछना पड़ेगा उसको इधर मैं स्टीम पे पूछता हूँ जाए नहीं रे शायद एक तरह को प्रोफाइल भेजू क्या ये वाला बंदा है चाइना का है इधर
कस्टमर आया था देख रहा था
हाँ ठीक है अरे
The mighty Fernsehturm towers over Berlin at a whopping 368 meters. But another high point of the city is happening right now in the Velodrome. The Berlin Major Day 2 continues now as we approach the end of the tournament. Just 5 series left and 5 teams. OG, EG, GG, 9 Pandas, and Team Liquid.
OG, EG, GG.
How about that?
A lot of G's.
A lot of G's.
Yeah.
Yep. How are you
Strong
guys
letter.
doing
How many
this
G's
morning?
is it? Dude, I'm bad at counting. 1, 2, 3. 3.
3. We got No Tail on the panel. Famous TI winner and top lad. We got Stormer, mid for Entity and top lad.
इको क्यों हो रहा है
Jenkins.
आवाज
देखो मेरे इससे आ रहा है
Top
क्या
lad. Top
Thanks,
lad.
guys.
He is a
I'll
top lad.
take it.
I
देखना
love me some
पड़ेगा।
Jenkins. How have you guys
मेरे
been
से आ
finding
रहा
Berlin? Because
नहीं देख रहा
some
हूँ
of you
मैं
guys
अभी
might
तक
not
चेक
spend
नहीं
much time.
किया
I'm sure you've been to Berlin plenty of times.
या उनके इधर
not
से आ रहा है
playing
वो भी
this
देखना
actually,
पड़ेगा
As much as I should have
Really?
been, I guess, yeah. Like, actually,
नहीं,
a
मेरे
bit many cities in Germany,
माइक
but
से
not
लीक हो रहा
Berlin,
होगा ना
so yeah,
शायद
definitely enjoying my
होता है ना
time.
आवाज
Okay.
थोड़ा सा
Have
बड़ा है
to
हाँ
have, of course, a major in your home country.
Yeah,
so.
gosh, I love that. When we had the Birmingham Major, that was my favorite. My favorite. Didn't have to travel anywhere. It was like an hour on the train, dead easy. Johan, have you been enjoying Berlin?
Yeah, it's not my first time here. It's really nice. The food choices are ample. It's a great city. Tap
Yeah.
water, you know, amazing.
Tap water.
Tap water. Whenever you travel around the world and you realize not every place you can, just drink the tap water, you're
That's
like,
a good
oh, wow,
point.
yeah.
That's so true.
God, I
honestly.
hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
No, it's a big thing. Tap water.
Tap water. Jenkins, how are you liking the water here?
I don't drink water, Ted. I only drink Monster Energy, mango loco flavor, of course. Yeah, shout out to Monster, everybody.
Subtle.
इसने
Berlin's great.
ब्लैक कलर का
Berlin is
लिपस्टिक
great.
लगाया
I've been
है
really enjoying it as well. I've been here a few
Jenkins
times. This is the first time I think I've been here for work. But if
इसीलिए
you haven't
होगा
checked out
वो
the zoo is worth a
हिप्पी
look.
से
Big fan of the zoo.
हाँ।
Anyway, let's have a look at the bracket. It'll give us an idea about what happened
शायद
yesterday,
best
and then we can
friend-
talk about those games as well.
Best
So
friend
we
होगी
had
इसकी।
EG against Talon, of course. We had Tundra against Liquid and OG. Well, we had Astra against Liquid to start the day. EG versus Talon, and then Tundra against Liquid. Liquid played 2 series and won 4 games. They looked pretty good, Johan.
Yeah, today is up to OG to also have the 2 series, but always when you have these long days, it's a give and take. It's
Yeah.
up to you whether or not you take it into your advantage and use, this as a warm-up and you place better the second, or if you get fatigued, then, having the 2 series, you can use the excuse after that, I was tired.
Fatigue.
Gave it my all the first series, but yeah, very
तूने
impressive by
लाइव
Liquid
किया है
yesterday.
यार मैच चालू होने के बाद ही
So,
करेंगे।
Soma, would
नहीं
you...
मैं लाइव कर
You
दिया
know those teams, sometimes they just play 1 series in a day and then they have to go back. Are you always like, oh, I want it to keep going? Or do you think, well, I'm glad we only have 1 series?
I mean, as Soto said, I think it just really depends on like I think the momentum can give you a lot. It also matters if you play 3 games or 2 games sometimes.
Right.
Like, for example, Liquid yesterday they had a really strong showing against Aster, like just 2-0ing them, and then they probably took a short rest at the hotel, or maybe they just stayed around, like get a reset, maybe enjoy the EG Thailand series, and then came back. So I mean, they 2-0 Tundra, right? So I think they were not too sad about it.
शायद
Of course,
YouTube से
Liquid
करना
against
चाहिए था
Tundra,
मेरे को
I don't really know what it is about
YouTube
this
पे
matchup,
थोड़ा
but they just always seem to
better-
have like
मैं
their
देख-
number somehow. I
नहीं,
think
मैं
yesterday
देख
the
रहा
panel
था
was
तो
mentioning that
YouTube पे
Tundra
थोड़ा डिले है
lost to
2-3
Liquid
सेकंड का
Like every time,
consecutively
yeah.
for the
YouTube
last
better
2
है।
years.
Yeah.
So yeah, that curse or blessing for Liquid,
Yeah.
I guess, did not really end up yesterday.
How does that happen, though, that a team just has another team's number? Because obviously they can pick whatever they want and the meta might change, but is it a mind game? Or is it just they just happen to know how they think?
I think it's also my
YouTube पे
somewhat.
थोड़ा
Like I
slow
think
है.
it's somewhat the
Twitch
Chandra
पे
because Chandra is a good team. They won TI, right? But funny
Yeah.
enough, I think they didn't
मतलब
play
मैं-
against Liquid on TI as well.
No, they
So
didn't,
yeah.
you got that thought in
Second
your
Because that
back
was
of your head.
certainly what Insania has always said, is that they felt they would have won if they'd got to the final, they would have beaten Tundra,
Yeah.
and the record suggests that, Johan.
Of course, there's no proof, but
No proof. No
Tundra on
proof.
TI was pretty much unbeatable in most teams.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's a few things that go into it, but it's
In-game
a
में
lot in
क्या
your
चल
head.
रहा
Yeah.
You also come in having beat someone 10 times. You don't want to let that slip away, and it might motivate you and give you the confidence, like you're playing without the fear, and vice versa, right? The other guys are afraid to play you.
Indeed. Jenkins, what about this EG team, the lower bracket Reapers you like to talk about? You followed Chris
Title
Luck and
क्या
the
दिया?
gang quite closely. What do you make of today for them?
Oh man, these guys. For whatever reason, they power up in the lower bracket. I couldn't tell you why. I remember when the initial split of Thunder Predator, Thunder Awaken, whatever you want to call them.
Dota
East
2
Coast
ESL
happened.
Major
I
Berlin
was-
2023 EG
just a
versus
fight.
He's
Oh my
having
God.
he's having PTSD from this.
It's tough. It's tough.
I question like where that lower bracket mentality comes from, and it seemed to have followed both teams. But Chris Luck in particular is the type of player that when he's the only guy playing on stage because his whole team has COVID, he plays better because he's like, you know what? I'm
The stress.
supposed to, I'm supposed to play bad in this scenario. I'm supposed to be stressed out. This is, he comes from US East. He's playing these NA/SA pubs. He's used to playing under immense pressure all the time.
Oh,
He
man.
loves it.
It's like the chamber room, gravity room, you know?
Yes, it
You're
is.
working out with
Right,
yeah.
Goku, right.
What's the
Man.
gravity room?
Oh, you don't know? You never read Dragon Ball?
3
Oh,
watching.
okay.
He does super push-ups.
तेरा
Yeah.
There is
Boomer.
Flaming
सही
host.
सही
Yeah, it's fine. That's what I
Yes.
Only here for one panel.
Yes,
Don't worry.
I got 3 viewers, man. 3 viewers.
Let's see if we can have a
100
quick
पे
look
giveaway
at the
करके
DPC
Arcana में
standings as well, because all these teams have been
100
starting to move
subscribers
around in
हैं।
terms of points. We don't have it yet.
ऐसे ही ले ले.
But
100 पे गया.
we do have
Four,
Tsunami.
yes.
How about
Four
that?
हो
Let's go check in with,
Yes, man.
with
Yes.
Tsunami. Neil, how are you
Four
doing this
US.
fine morning, and how's our crowd doing?
तेरा म्यूट करता हूँ आवाज एक होगा नहीं तो।
You tell me, crowd, how are we doing today? I think we're doing quite
TA का
well.
cosplay
and I have some
किया है,
secrets
low
I need to
budget
uncover
cosplay.
'cause I've got Templar Assassin here. How are you doing this
सिर्फ
morning?
मुंडी के ऊपर गए बाकी कुछ नहीं।
I can tell now. You've had an interesting
मैं भी
journey on
चालू
your
कर
way
दिया था
here.
broadcast। क्या
How
बोलता
were
है?
you keeping up with this tournament before you got here in the venue?
Streaming
We
चालू
were
नहीं किया
driving by
मैंने अभी
car
तक मैं कुछ तो भी
and
चेक कर
my
रहा था
boyfriend
भूल
was
गया था।
driving and I kept watching the games on my iPad.
So where were you driving from then?
Hamburg.
Okay, a German Dota fan. We've got quite a few of them in the crowd.
German.
Now, which team are you going to be supporting for this tournament?
Liquid.
क्या लड़की जर्मन
Ooh,
है
a Liquid fan. Appealing to the crowd. Now, what about Liquid has your fandom?
I really like Zai as a player, so I was
सिर्फ मेरा
always supporting the team he was playing in.
Now, why do you support Zai as we get your
Zai की
boyfriend in the
fanboy है
frame,
ये।
please?
गेम में गया तेल लेने
as a player.
I'm a
As
fan
player,
girl.
Of course, the gameplay
I'm
is
going
the
to
only
support
thing
the
that
team.
matters for him. And then in
सही ना?
this series, EG versus OG,
अच्छा।
if you had to choose who's going to lose to Liquid, I guess.
OG.
OG, all right. And then how long did this TA outfit take you this morning?
This didn't take very long. I will be in outfit after the series, like complete, not only the head thing. So
All right, that is correct. We are going to have the cosplay showcase later today, so be sure to stick around. And one last thing, can we see the eyes? Can we see the context? Check out the commitment to character. Wait, tilt your head back a little bit. Let's get it in the light. There we go. Round of applause to all the commitment that our cosplayers go through. We will be showcasing all of them a little bit later today. But for right now, if you want some Dota, I know Perry and Flex will guide you through it. Back to the panel.
Thank you, Neil. Yes, we do have some Dota coming up today. Let's have a look at the schedule, chats, because we've still got 3 series today. let's see what we've got. We've got EG against OG. That's going to start the day, of course, and we're going to have a totally non-biased panel when it comes to analyzing OG.
Let's go, Age.
यार
Then we
sarcastically
got
बोला
Gaming
गया था
Gladiators against 9 Pandas and Team Liquid against one of the, who will that be the result? I can't remember.
EGOG versus
okay.
Liquid later.
There we go. Old man brain there. So that's the series we've got today. I hope you guys are excited. EGOG will start the day, and we'll be getting into the draft and analysis and all stuff like that just after this short break. Don't go away.
Takes by their money to force a change. Takes by their
Game है क्या?
time to heal the pain.
क्या बोला
ये क्या स्टेडियम है क्या? स्टेडियम या जिधर हो रहा है
ऊपर से
Light the fire, heart break.
सही है ना? देखना इन लोग का पॉपुलेशन कम है तो कितने कम गाड़ी है इधर तो क्या बोलते हैं इधर इतना
लग जाएगी वो
ओजी इतना लंबा है एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं था इजी भी एक्चुअली ये वाला नया वाला इजी है और ये इजी ने पुराने इजी वाले को बाहर कर दिया ये टूर्नामेंट से
पुराने इजी भी था क्या
हाँ पुराने
पुराने
ये ओरिजिनल प्लेयर्स है सब अपना आरटीजी फ्लाई क्रिट
आगे तो क्या बोलते हैं कोई नई टीम के नाम से आया था ना तो
हाँ वो अभी उन लोग ने शॉपिफाई रिबेलियन नाम रखा है नई टीम का
ये क्या बोल रहे हैं विन ऑसम प्राइजेस
हाँ वो गिव अवे रहता है
गिव अवे
हाँ
ये ट्विच वाले करते हैं क्या
नहीं ईएसएल वाले करते हैं
ESL वाले ट्विच पे करते हैं क्या
नहीं तेरे को ESL पे जाना पड़ता है और करना पड़ता है
अच्छा
मैंने तेरे को एक लिंक दिया ना वो वाला हो सके तो करना कुछ नहीं सिर्फ 2-3 ही करना है क्लिक जो मैंने गिव अवे का लिंक दिया है
हाँ देखा मैं
हाँ वो
Last time भी
जेन्युइन
दिया था ना
हाँ वो जेन्युइन बंदा है वो जेन्युइन मतलब ये देता है वर्ल्ड वाइड रहता है उसका हाँ वो बंदा उसके पास हाँ उसके इधर $800 मतलब बहुत है एक्चुअली मतलब कैसा है बाहर के प्राइसेस क्या बोलते हैं अभी फ्लैट होने लगे अपने इधर ही अभी तक क्या बोलते हैं हर एक प्राइस
$100
ओवर प्राइस है
70-80 रुपए के हिसाब से है
हाँ
7-8 हजार रुपए ना
हम्म
तो 8 या 64 मतलब 60-70 हजार रुपए का पीसी
हाँ मगर वो अपने इंडिया में लेने नहीं वही बोल रहा हूँ अपने इंडिया में वो पीसी लेने जाएंगे तो 1,50,000 तक जाएगा
अच्छा टैक्सेस की वजह से
हाँ टैक्स की वजह से और अपने इधर प्राइस भी ज्यादा है अभी तक क्या बोल सकते हैं अपने इधर इशू है ना एक बार प्राइस बढ़ गया तो सेलर प्राइस कम नहीं करता है
क्यों
क्या मालूम अपने इधर वियर्ड है सब किसी का पहले से अब हम लोग हर एक चीज महंगा लेते हैं एक्चुअली इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में देखा जाएगा तो टैक्स तो भरते ही है मगर ओवर प्राइस भी प्रोडक्ट रहता है वो
अच्छा
शायद अपने इधर की पॉपुलेशन इतनी ज्यादा है तो हम लोग कम ही नहीं करते प्राइस उनका सेल होता रहेगा
The winner continues to face Team
अभी
Liquid
इकोनॉमी का उतना
in the
मेरे को
next
आइडिया
round.
नहीं
A
तो
daunting prospect either
बहुत
way.
ज़्यादा इंसाइट नहीं दे
And
सकता उसके
I
लिए
have
मैं
a
भी
fabulous
अभी
panel, of course,
assume ही
to
कर रहा हूँ ऐसे
discuss this
इतना
game. before and
मेरे
after,
को इतना
and to go
idea
through
नहीं.
the draft and everything like that. Let's talk
मेरा
about
भी थोड़ा
EG
बहुत
first of all.
यार
They
12 मिनट
2-0
बोल रहा है.
Talon yesterday. Did you guys manage to
यार
catch
12
that?
मिनट
मेरा
क्या
ऑडियो
करेंगे?
चेक करना, मेरा ऑडियो चेक
I caught
करना,
a bit of
ऑडियो
it.
आ
I
रहा है
think
कि
it was
मेरा
Talon.
सही से
That's, yeah, we
हाँ,
were
एक
इधर हो जाएगा.
No, kidding.
एक मिनट मेरे को म्यूट
Yeah,
करना
no, EG looked
पड़ेगा
pretty
मेरा
strong
ऑडियो.
yesterday. I think the first game against Talon was not so obvious. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But then they got a really strong amount of momentum from that game. And the second game, I think it was also Talon falling back a little bit and not really getting the grasp of the match anymore.
There were a couple of little misplays. I think.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
they couldn't really recover. You could see some small pickups that ideally shouldn't happen. But yeah, EG basically jumped away with the momentum. Chris Luck had an insane start for a game that came, I think, without a single death in the end, and 14 or 18 or something.
That was in the second game when they had the anti-mage. They had a Storm, they had a Pugner, and we were talking in the post-game, oh, sometimes you think, oh, this will be an easy AM game, I'll just blow people up, but it was. He never came online. I think it was a pretty brutal game too. But talking about that game one, we haven't seen too many comebacks like that in this patch yet. It seems to be there's a big fight and then a team takes control. Why is it so hard for teams to come back, Johan?
I think it's a lot to do with the economy of the patch and also the strength of certain items. Or items, it gets very hard to kill a lot of heroes. Depending on the lineup that you have, if you're choosing, let's say, a Lion or another support like Cobble that is more about control, and they end up getting a quick Crimson, Heavies plus Pipe, you can't kill anyone, and they have 6k, 7k gold lead, and it just feels impossible to approach the map where the heroes are. You have to really dodge them, and dodging them means, yeah, you take a risk, and if they start killing your heroes, with the gold change and things like this, I also feel that you can't let that happen.
Right.
So I still think it's quite a big aura meta, buff meta patch. I hope that they're gonna maybe do something about that in the future, but for now, it has to be a style that
Akuma pe na online to?
Yeah.
Akumano Gaming.
So yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now, and then of course Medusa is also a bit like most unkillable hero in the patch right now.
Yeah. Well, she seems to be the first ban material.
She's
pretty
not
much.
He's not getting through.
Do you think we'll see her again at all this tournament?
Potentially 9 Pandas might let it through depending on who they're playing.
साला anime का भी इतना नहीं नाम रहता है.
दिया ना लिंक दिया डायरेक्ट तेरे को स्टीम पे.
In their dreams or in their sleep, you could get the confidence from that and go, especially in the best of 5 in the finals.
That's true.
I can see Medusa slip through.
9 Pandas have claimed that they can beat it, so they've been letting it go through, but we shall see as the tournament progresses. Anyway, the other team in this matchup is, of course, OG. We had a little content, someone spoke to them earlier, so check this out.
Anytime a team has stand-ins, you obviously
इन्हें बर्लिन का दिया actually Steam पे.
Except for OG.
Song of the Siren used, the stun there on the 2. Hector throws it on out the depth shroud to keep his buddies alive.
तेरा इसका Akuma का बोल रहा हूँ मैं.
They are down 22,000.
Akuma का ही तो दिया
And Slurp is dead. Sacred gonna be the last one left alive. GG is called.
It's always a treat to watch these like younger guys come together and then they just some reason click. I think they're just building their synergy very quickly amongst the players.
They are just able to flourish whenever they have stand-ins at their events.
एक काम करना तेरे चैनल का नाम बता.
Happen yet again.
नहीं ठीक है मैं गलती से सचिन को किया तेरे को नहीं किया.
Post-match massages, you know. MC kind of looks like a.
तेरे चैनल का नाम बताना क्या है?
He's been an inspiration to a lot of players,
मैं
not only in
सचिन
the
को कर
offense.
दिया था गलती.
नहीं मैं अभी देख रहा था ना वो ये हो रहा है स्विच हो रहा है एक्चुअली ब्राउजर पे OBS पे इसलिए बोला.
अकुमानो गेमिंग यही तो नाम है. मेरे को नाम भी भूल गया था. Dota 2 Berlin Major, Akumano Gaming ऐसे मिल जाएगा.
Deliver the blow necessary. Good arrow to be able to help out in his dying breath, trying to help JT here, but oh, the swashbuckle on a big swing from MC, 300 damage.
Kitrak, standing in as a 5 position, I think that's really interesting.
I think Kitrak's fit in really well. Of course, he also played with some of those old G boys before,
खाना
so
नहीं
maybe
खा
he's
रहे.
familiar with how they think
मेरे
about
को
the game.
मैं खाना का क्या
It seems
आया?
like he fits in perfectly with BZM and Yuragi
नहीं
and stuff like
मैं
that. This team just has so much
सुबह का हो
synergy,
गया रात
super
का अभी मैं
aggressive.
खाना की नहीं जल्दी खाता
They
हूँ.
don't have Song of the Siren for 8 more seconds. Sacred
Okay,
goes for the
शायद
stun
late हो
for the high
सकता है.
ground, but he's
अंधेरा
going
होने
to
के बाद
die
खाना नहीं खाता
as
है.
Hector does not have nearly enough damage to deal with heroes. But wait a minute, no, maybe they do. With the showing up Dark Mago, they might be able to make something happen here. Kitrak throws out that stun, and Well, Jakiro just doing so much for them in this.
It's very impressive that this team can continue to slot in so many stand-ins and still perform really well at tournaments. I think it speaks to that core of the team, Taiga, BZM, Yuragi, that have been there in all those events. Like how damn good those guys are. They're really, really high.
मैं नहीं देखा ये अभी का लेटेस्ट पिछले टाइम भी मतलब अच्छा खेला था पर निशा और ये इसके सामने कम पड़ जाता है ये
Pick me Invoker, screw it, pick me Tinker, and it's working.
निशा तो अच्छा खेलता है एक्चुअली
निशा फिर सुनील और एक है शायद निशा के अपोजिट कौन था ये क्या सीसीएनसी भी खतरनाक खेलता है
I think it's a very exciting time to be able to watch this OG team and have them
Gaming Gladiator last time वो ये जीता.
I think part of having stand-ins when you're doing well
major.
is like pretty strong because
last का major.
Again, there's no expectations on you and you feel.
साला इतना ये
है. कौन जीता था?
I think right now they're kind of popping off, and I think it probably will transition.
ये फटक से out हो गया वो.
They're not setting the meta.
इसने फेल दिया क्या बोलता है? टिंकर था. टिंकर ने पूरा गेम घुमा दिया.
उन्होंने TI में मस्त परफॉर्म किया था.
हाँ उनका देखना उनका लक था और ओजी का मतलब वो अनफॉर्चुनेट थे अगर ओजी वर्सेस टुंड्रा रहता तो शायद ओजी हरा देता इन लोग को.
Have you spoken to them both? How are they fitting in? How have you sort of been involved, if you have been, in sort of helping them to settle, or is it just the team handling it by themselves?
छोड़ मैं डायरेक्ट ये
that's on their own feet. I'm not there managing anything. I went by to say hi, of course. And yeah, I'm also curious myself, like how's the vibe, how's everyone doing, and how people feeling. I had my ideas that it's to do with the new patch, and I also think SVG pointed out the two things that were most important. There's already a system in place that I think makes things easier to fit into, and then there's also the mental stress of, well, two stand-ins, things are not ideal,
मोबाइल से देख रहा था मैं मिल रहा नहीं है
and any losses to be expected, so there's no pressure.
अरे लाइव में ढूंढना है, ऐसे ढूंढने का थोड़े मेरे आप बड़ा चैनल.
So I think they're all just enjoying the live. That's the vibe I got when I also walked into the room.
अकुमानो गेमिंग
it's their own project.
आया मिल गया एक
मिनट. Of course you're here paneling, and we will be back on the panel having a look at the draft after this break. Don't go away.
कोड करना
क्या बोला?
गड़बड़ करना बोल रहा हूँ.
गड़बड़ करो. क्या गड़बड़ करो? कौन से प्लेयर है? मुझे तो प्लेयर्स के नाम भी नहीं पता अभी ओजी के. तेरे को नाम पता होंगे? मुझे तो याद भी नहीं कौन ओजी में कौन खेल रहा है कौन नहीं है. अब उनको
सब बराबर है. सब बराबर है. मेरे को तो ठीक लगा आवाज जितना भी तो भी बात कर रहा था. और हाँ स्ट्रीम का भी आवाज अच्छा ही है, इश्यू नहीं कोई.
ठीक है. तेरे को माइक में लीक हो रहा है कुछ?
नहीं ऐसा तो नहीं लगा माइक में लीक हो रहा है. एको वगैरह तो नहीं है जो लास्ट टाइम का इश्यू था वो.
अच्छा है देखो. One is supply of monster and monster drink. मतलब बीमार हो जाएगा लगता है मुझे तो. मॉन्स्टर ड्रिंक से क्या है? क्या तो एनर्जी ड्रिंक है ना?
हाँ
1 साल पिएगा आदमी.
1 साल नहीं, उन लोग 12 देते सिर्फ. 1 साल के लिए सिर्फ 12.
अच्छा 12 क्या एक बूंद पीने का है क्या? 12 दे रहे तो 1 साल में. कि वो क्या बोलते हैं ऐड वाले थंबनेल वाली इमेज है जो छोटी थी उसमें भी 12 से ज्यादा है.
वो मार्केटिंग स्ट्रेटेजी है ना इसीलिए.
Also price है Intel के प्रोसेसर 24 कोर 32 थ्रेड.
ये कुछ 50-60,000 का प्रोसेसर है ये.
इसमें अपन पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं क्या?
हाँ
किया है क्या तो?
नहीं
करना चाहिए.
हाँ करते हैं मगर क्या बोलते हैं अभी तो मैंने मतलब जब से ESL चालू है तब से ट्राई किया, अभी तक एक भी बार नहीं जीता है। तो क्या बोलता है, इतना मुझे ये नहीं लगता है, मतलब ट्राई करने का मन नहीं करता है ऐसे इसमें। हाँ शायद पार्टिसिपेंट्स भी ज्यादा हो सकते हैं, और दूसरी चीज मालूम नहीं ना कि अपने इधर आएगा तो अपने को टैक्स भरना है या यही भरेंगे। मैं जो तेरे को लिंक देता हूँ ना वो सब मतलब वही करेंगे, टैक्स भी भर के सिर्फ तेरे घर पे आएगा डायरेक्ट, बाकी कुछ नहीं करना।
अरे देख लोकल मुंबई के
ये मुंबई में आए थे ना अपना ये था
खाली अरे मस्त, ये बर्लिन में क्या खाली है, वाह 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 वाह।
जाना चाहिए रे एक बार, यूरोप घूम के आना चाहिए मस्त।
अरे जाना तो हर जगह चाहिए, पैसा कौन देगा? पैसा भी तो चाहिए।
अभी अपना चैनल है ना, कोई ना कोई स्पॉन्सर मिलेगा अपने को, टेंशन मत ले।
ये व्लॉगर्स रहते हैं ना ट्रैवलिंग वाले, मस्त रहता है यार।
मैंने YouTube का देखा वो कैसे बोले क्रिंज फनी वीडियोस बनाते हैं ना, वो भी अभी बाहर जाके ये कर रहे हैं, मतलब उन लोग को शायद चांस वगैरह मिलता रहेगा बाहर जाने का।
सबसे अच्छा लाइफ ये लोगों का ही एंटरटेनमेंट में, एक फिटनेस वाले रहते हैं इन्फ्लुएंसर, और ये ट्रैवलिंग वाले।
गेमर्स का भी है ना अच्छा खासा, गेमर्स का भी है एक्चुअली, गेमर्स का भी है।
हाँ गेमर्स का भी है, बट गेमर्स का कैसे, मैं ओवरऑल बोल रहा हूँ, मैं सिर्फ पैसे कमाने का नहीं बोल रहा हूँ। जैसे फिटनेस इन्फ्लुएंसर है, अपनी सेहत बनाने के ही उसको पैसे मिल जाते हैं।
It's very fun to play in the major. First of all, I don't do it in the
घूमने वाला है वो भी अच्छा, माइंड फ्रेश रहता है मेंटली,
and I still have
इधर उधर
won a
घूमना है तो
major.
फिजिकली भी
I'm
थोड़ा काफी
super
कुछ
inspired
फिट ही
for the
रहना
major.
रहता है, तो उसके लिए भी वो भी अच्छा है। एक फिटनेस इन्फ्लुएंसर ट्रैवलिंग व्लॉग भी बना सकता है,
but it does not keep them alive because they are down.
अपने को भी ओवरऑल पैसे कमाने के हिसाब से नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, वैसे तो ये है क्या बोलते हैं, छोटे छोटे वीडियोस बनाते हैं एंटरटेनमेंट वाले, वो भी कमाते हैं वैसे का।
It will mean a lot to me, the whole team, because it will be the fourth placement. Every time SA comes to a major, the maximum is like top 4. We cannot go
कोविड में तो बहुत सारे कंटेंट क्रिएटर आ गए,
we want to win, we want to get further in the tournament and even win it.
और लोगों को चस्का भी लग गया, अभी क्या बोलते हैं, बोर होते थे घर में तो वीडियो देखने का चस्का लग गया YouTube पे।
comes in, the static storm goes out at the same time. RTZ laying into the centaur. His damage is not that immense though. The crimson guard
और ट्रोल वॉरलॉर्ड देख क्या डैमेज ही नहीं गिर रहा है वो सेंटर वॉरशिप को।
what a big hit. That is an overwhelming
वही तो
shot that
कुछ
will
कर ही नहीं
Shopify
पाया
will certainly remember.
I know that OG always defeated EG in the.
ये one of the best ये है ना ऑफलेनर माइंड
Keep up
कंट्रोल,
with the guys and keep the tradition up.
मगर उन लोग ने TI जीता, उसके बाद इन लोग कुछ जीत ही नहीं पाए अच्छा खासा।
In every tournament, they beating us. All the tournaments, so it's our time to get revenge. I'm not confident about beating them, but I think we have a bigger chance than before.
I just feel very special, like when I walk on the stage,
कितना
I
बज
hear
रहा
the
है
crowd, even if they're not cheering for me exactly. I
साढ़े
feel that I'm
3
one
मिनट
of
है
the 10
शायद।
players in that game. I feel important in that moment.
We don't really do preparation for teams. We
इधर
just keep
काउंटडाउन चालू
improving,
नहीं हुआ,
trying
मतलब
to
काफी
fix
टाइम
our
चालू है रे।
mistakes, because we had a lot
प्रिपेयर
of
वगैरह
mistakes
नहीं
in
किया
group
रहेगा।
stage, and we
गेम में
are
काउंटडाउन चालू
learning
मैं तो क्या बोल रहा हूँ, तू तो खाना भी खा ले,
Yeah, we want to take the major.
स्ट्रीम तो चलता ही रहेगा ना,
खाते खाते खेलूंगा मैं, खाते खाते खेलूंगा।
खाते खाते स्ट्रीम करेगा ना।
The lower bracket Reapers have been sharpening their sides, and now they're ready to show up on day number 2 here in the Velodrome Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Evil Geniuses!
थर्ड टाइम पे शुरू होगा।
टीम तो आ गई। मेरे को प्लेयर्स का ज़्यादा नॉलेज नहीं है ना, वगैरह शक्ल वगैरह कुछ भी। अब
ये
इनका captain कौन है
ये क्या बोलते हैं, नया टीम है, मतलब
ये तो
क्या
नया
बोलते
टीम
हैं पूरा, अभी इन लोग
Now
को
they may
ये
only have 60% of their roster here,
ये प्रीवियस स्ट्रीम में इन लोग ने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया था इसलिए इनको इजी ने ये किया है
here in the Velodrome Arena. It's OG.
ये अपना नया वाला OG है, नोटेल वाला नहीं है।
हाँ, नोटेल को तो टाइम हो गया अभी। फिर भी ये यूरोगी और ये बीजीएम वगैरह काफी दिनों से खेल
ये बीजीएम मुझे मस्त लगता है ये बीजीएम यूरोगी अच्छे प्लेयर है।
बच्चे ही है शायद वो ज्यादा उम्र नहीं है उसकी।
एक नया प्लेयर है शायद उनमें।
टकले को देख के मेरे को टकला करने की 2 प्लेयर मेरे को नए लग रहे हैं। 2 नहीं
एक तो स्टैंड इन है उनका ऑफलाइन
Panda,
और
would you mind joining me and mind control?
ये वाला स्टैंड इन प्लेयर है ये अपना कुरोकी का टीम का प्लेयर है ये निग्मा गैलेक्सी कुछ टीम का नाम है।
I need the aggression. Okay, Panda, I'll stay in your lane. Say one nice thing.
थोड़ा इको आ रहा है मेरे इसमें पर चलेगा शायद बहुत कम ही आ रहा है नहीं चलेगा कम है मतलब नेग्लिजिबल है मगर सुनाई दे रहा है।
एक मिनट Panda, mind control. How do you
हाँ हाँ
respond?
Hey, beautiful people. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. I respect EG. They have good aggression, but I'm gonna suppress it.
You're gonna get suppressed, Panda. Okay, can I get? I want a mean expression from you, mind control. You're a very nice man, but give me the brow furrowing. I want you to stare at this man, Panda. Return it. No, stop laughing.
He's amazing, though. I admire him.
He's a legend?
Yeah, he's really good. I admire him. I cannot.
Well, there you go. That's all I needed to hear. But this man wants to be a legend killer. Gentlemen, let's get ready to play some Dota. EG versus OG. Take your positions.
Again, Dota players failing to really grasp the idea they are meant to trash talk each other. They find it easy in game, of course, tipping and voice lining, but in person they're as sweet as puppies, Jenkins.
Yeah, that is right. I mean, they call these guys the lower bracket reapers. It comes out in the game. That's what really matters. And you know, Panda was right. In the past, previously, OG went 4-1 against the old Beast Coast and 6-1 against the old Thunder. So they are used to getting slapped by these guys on LAN. However, this year since TI11, EG is 2-1 versus OG. The only time they've played is in the group stage of a Dream League, second group stage. So who knows how this one is going to go? This is a new EG. This is the Dream squad. This is also of SA. This is also a totally different OG. Obviously, they played it with different stand-ins last year for that record. So it's a big question mark, No-Tail.
Indeed it is. Wouldn't you say?
What's the question mark?
I think it just stuns him right now.
You're just talking about the fact that this is a different OG and a different EG. So the past record, one could potentially.
How do they keep doing this? How do they keep having stand-ins? What is it about the core of OG that lets them have stand-ins over other teams?
Maybe we just know how to pick the stand-ins. Maybe that's the secret, you know?
Is that
Maybe
it?
that's what we rely on.
Okay.
No, of course not. Of course there's a system in place, and of course the stand-ins are good. You need both, otherwise it won't work. But I mean, for the match and for the history, I think it should favor OG, right? Like, you can hear the fear, you can hear they're intimidated, and they don't want to lose. And OG feels like, all right, we're here, we've done it before, let's do it again. Yeah, I don't know. It's but definitely OG's success is attributed to a lot of people, and it's also the two guys who helped build this, who are not here, Misha and Chu. You know, they have a lot to do with all of OG's success. They managed to do what the old OG couldn't, which was like win online games. And I don't think we would have ever made it to TI without TI10 without Misha. I'm sure of it. So thanks to those guys as well, the hidden warriors of the squad.
What I found so interesting is like Misha's not here as well, right? So it's not only 2 standards, but you could arguably say 3 maybe. I mean, the coach is in the back, of course, not one of the players, but there's 2 players being standing in, and the coach is also not there.
That's a very good point,
One more, how to say, part of the system, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically 3 out of 6 persons missing, and they're still having this really good run.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, can I point out how much I love those interviews? Like, I mean, MC's energy is really infectious. Like, he's just having smiles across his face. Like, I think, like, no matter what is happening in these games, like, he's gonna stay positive in the game, on the stage. He's gonna enjoy himself. Same with EG, of course. I think Panda, he seemed a little bit intimidated maybe, but also got to admire the honesty, right? Like,
Yeah.
it takes a lot to admit that you're like, the enemy team has an edge on you, but you're trying to give your best.
So what are we
Yeah.
expecting to be the key heroes here, do you think, Stormstormer, for each team?
I mean, I think Medusa will always be part of this. I don't know. I think the early phase will almost always stay seriously similar. You see a lot of Underlords, you see a lot of Medusas,
Yeah.
you see a lot of Cartels, a lot of Beastmasters. So I would be surprised if that changes too much. Already see. Oh.
So we've had the three major, contested band picks: Caudal, Medusa, Alchemist, I think as well. Beast.
Oh yeah, Alchemist is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of the times Alka's been banned, and Beast and Doom, I think people are thinking about. They want to pick Beast versus the Doom or something like this. I'm not really sure if that's the thought process for every team, but it used to be the classic. Like, they pick Doom, well, Beast can be a good answer. Yeah, but obviously interesting to see. Everybody would like to wait with the Medusa till second, if you're the second pick, because you want to have them think, what if? Maybe they're not even ready for it and stuff.
I would also personally be really interested because right now it looks like the team that has first pick, the teams never wanted to get either Alchemist or Medusa. So, and they usually get the Caudal or one of the three. What I would like to see also would be interesting to keep like two of those heroes in the pool, maybe even all three. Because that means they get a trade. But at the current state, people are probably just thinking Medusa is just unbeatable. We will see if OG leaves it in here. That would be, of course, a change of plans.
There's some cute heroes that I think are worth mentioning. DM is one of the big Venomancer players. He's not here. MC can definitely play Venom, but EG also likes the occasional Venomancer on core as well.
They even flex it to mid.
Yeah, a lot more teams will start flexing it. There we go. Let's go. I love it. Man up. Man up.
The Stormstorm ban is pretty interesting. It might just be a filler just because simply they want to leave more heroes in the pool as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're leaving the Dusa and the Caudal is also in. Doom, Beastmaster. Let's see.
Chris Luck did absolutely pop off on the Storm yesterday, I believe, so maybe they saw that game.
It is interesting though, because OG is also very confident Storm team, I think.
Oh, what is this?
This is like a game of chicken. Who's getting purple ban
not accepted. Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. This is some chess, some Queen's Gambit or whatever.
Yes, this is
accepted or not. Like, this is...
The Medusa Gambit.
Yeah.
Accepted or rejected? Declined. Let's see.
I mean, you get the double pick, surely. On this one.
This game just plays itself.
So if you leave the Dusa in as OG, that's what you're not because the 8 or the coming pick from the Dusa will be too strong. They just have to grasp.
Of course.
It is gonna be here. Okay.
नहीं कर पाएगा शायद बहुत टाइम लगेगा 10-15 मिनट का डिले रहेगा
and they might have an answer. I don't know what that is. I don't know what people think about anymore. I've seen the anti-mage.
मैं क्या है ना अंदर गया वो connect नहीं होगा.
What else is
we
it?
saw Nyx Dark here.
So the Nyxes, we've seen Nyxes win, but also lose.
Do you guys think that Nyx needs the Darkseer to make the Nyx combo work?
I think it's a lot better. You used to be able to run some other stuff like the Nyx Prophet, like Nature's Prophet.
Yeah.
But now it seems like a dead hero.
Yeah, so it's really dead.
I think it's very hard to make the Nyx work with a lot of different cores. So Darkseer is definitely one of them, and also one of the better heroes versus Medusa.
Yeah,
let's see. Total Darkseer sounds a bit awkward as a potential laning duo, but who knows?
Is there a possibility that EG just first faces a PL for Picasso?
I've seen that lose every time though. I don't think did it win?
It does lose.
माहिती है पण आता आठवत नाहीये.
Yeah,
नाही मला तो शब्द माहिती आहे पण आता भरपूर बोललो नाही तर ते
that they really believe in now, right?
काय
Because if
बोलतात
not, you're facing 3 bans.
पुश करून असतं ना पुश करून सारखं त्याचं तो वर्ड आहे.
Maybe they just slurp because it's Picasso's most played hero of the tournament.
So Ramses was talking
अरे हिंदी मध्ये आहे तो शब्द लक्षात येत नाही.
At times, even after saying it, but yes.
They still respect it.
But so he was saying, you just kill the Medusa and then or kill the rest of the team and then kill the Medusa afterwards. That's not as easy as that, is it?
Easier said than done, quite often, but it's definitely a way to play.
मला वाटलं की दुसऱ्याबरोबर
role
बोलत
you can
असेल
go for. I
घरी.
mean, there are heroes like Brewmaster that
कोण आलं असेल
superb at dealing with these critical mass cores and Medusas and stuff.
Wow. Okay. So I was thinking about anti-mage, PL, Nyx.
मेरे इधर माझ्या इथे तर आजी आतमध्ये गाणी ऐकते पण येत नसेल आवाज.
And ran away with the game. They're feeling confident though. It's a bold choice though.
It is a bold choice, especially
मला
this
माइक घ्यायचा आहे
early.
रे सेपरेट.
Yeah, the thing is, EG is once again the first big team, right? So
बघ
they
अरे
now
माईक
the second
सेपरेट
stage third
घ्यायचा
games
इश्यू
have
काय माहितीये
the
तुला
less
फिल्टर
favorite,
घ्यायला लागेल
drafting
मग
orders
तो हात
because
घ्यायला
OG
लागेल
can help to
माईकच्या
pick both the
बरोबर
other
कारण की
other
आपला
heroes.
टेस्ट
And on
व्हायब्रेट
top of that,
होतं तर
they're
त्याला
just
इश्यू
locked
येतो.
out. So
They just showed the AM,
Yeah,
so
एवढं
most
vibrate नाही
likely
होत
they're
ना.
gonna feel like these three bands have
फॅनचे
to
व्हायब्रेशन
protect
पकडतो तो
against
पीसीचा
anti-mage's
फॅनचा
timings,
व्हायब्रेशन
which could
किंवा
also be the
आपला
lane.
फॅनचा
He has
व्हायब्रेशन
a couple really bad lane matchups.
बघू जसं लागेल मग तसे ते
So what's still in? I mean, because there's a lot that was still left in. Beastmaster is still in. You see they're
आणि
banning the LC.
सारखं माईक
which is
कनेक्ट
not normally a hero
करण्यापेक्षा
you're gonna ban, but
मी
since
तर
you have this
हेडसेटच
AM,
बघितला
I feel like maybe you have to protect
आता
him.
हळूहळू सोनी येते आपल्या
Is that
इथे
enough of a hero?
सोनीने
Really good
लॉन्च
hero
केले
versus AM,
गेमिंग
has always
हेडसेट
been,
आपल्या
always will
इंडियामध्ये
be, as long as Amp is
म्हणजे
there.
वर्ल्ड वाईड पण आणि
Bash.
इंडियामध्ये
But
सेम
what I
टाइमला
find hard
लॉन्च
about the
केले
situation for EG is that now the picks that they're going to pick in the
हेडसेट तर
second
चांगले
stage,
आहेत
they
फक्त माईक
cannot be
चांगला नाही
protected with bans if
कदाचित
they want to go this route and
सेकंड
free bans
जे
into the
लॉन्च
anti-mage.
करतील
Also an option
त्याच्यामध्ये
that
माईक
OG has, I
इम्प्रुव्हमेंट
think might
करतील
put in place it is actually the
कारण
bounty
की
hunter offlane maybe. I
सोनी
think
जी
that could be
कंपनी
really
आहे
interesting.
ते ऑडिओ
Because
तो
the
डिव्हाइस
Ginada you
एकदम
constantly
मस्त
see the goal
बनवतात
of course
आणि
and it's
नेहमी
super
इम्प्रुव्हमेंट
likely
करत
to
असतात
fast battle fury
जे
and
पण
कसं
क्रिटिक्स
आहे,
Radiant's still thing and up
जर की नाही
to
तो
Leo right now
हेडसेट
to build.
घेतला ना सगळं गेमिंग वगैरेचं
So I think OG
Vanguard
even
Radiant,
I mean,
तरच चांगलं
yeah,
असतं
Vanguard
जास्त
Radiant,
करून.
exactly. Because
काय?
I don't know what
मला
the
भेटत
current
नाही
anti-mage
सगळ्या
build is
गोष्टी.
honestly. You used to have Vanguard, this is
परत बोल.
गेमिंगचे हेडसेट जर घेतला ना हेडसेट वगैरे
हा हा
गेमिंगचा
Fusion
हो.
maybe.
तर
Yeah.
तुला एक्सपेन्सिव्ह घ्यावं लागते स्वस्तामध्ये भेटत नाही चांगल्या वाल्या क्वालिटीचा
हा पण काय बोलतो बघू आता सोनी काय करता ह्या वेळेस तर सेल मध्ये 6-7 हजाराला होता त्यांचा वायर्ड वाला आणि ब्लूटूथ वाला महाग असतो ब्लूटूथ वाला 18 पर्यंत असतो तर बघूया आता सेकंड लॉन्च
मला असं वाटते 5-6 हजार रुपये हेडफोन साठी मला जास्त वाटत त्याच्यापेक्षा माईक घेतलेलं बरं असं वाटतं तेवढ्या किमतीत
नाही अरे जे 5-6 नाही 8 हजाराचे हेडफोन असते त्याची क्वालिटी वेगळीच असते रे तू कधी ट्राय करून बघ 8 हजाराचे 10
मी कुठं
हजाराचे
बोलत आहे क्वालिटी मी असते म्हटलं जाणार मी सांगत आहो ना ते मला तेवढं एक्सपेन्स तेवढं मला बरं नाही वाटत पर्टिक्युलर त्या गोष्टी
आता बरं नाही वाटत पण मी तो बोलतो जॉब लागल्याच्या नंतर
पैसा असेल तर वेगळी गोष्ट आहे खूप पैसा असेल तेव्हा वेगळी
हा
गोष्ट आहे.
No, I think OG wants to.
मी तर बोलतो की तू आता बघ हे जे तुझं आहे ना ते पण चांगलंच आहे इतकं काय हे नाहीये
What they decide.
जेव्हा म्हणजे आपलं जॉब वगैरे लागेल आणि किंवा कोणती पण अर्निंग सुरू झाली
Make the bounty hunter XYZ.
तर तेव्हा घे
I think
कोणता
would be
पण काय
ideal,
पण
because
घेशील
that
तर
means
तेव्हा घे आता काही गरज
they
नाही
have
मला
a really
वाटत
hard
आता
time
तर
picking
मला
up,
तुझं तर
heroes in
चांगलंच
EG,
वाटतंय
you know, because again we get
जे पण आहे
the counter pick scenario.
हे चांगलं आहे रे मला याची
I
काही
mean, it's
प्रॉब्लेम नाही
most
फक्त
likely
तो
probably
साऊंड
the
लीक
next
होते
OG
ना
pick
तेच
that's
इश्यू
what
आहे
they ban
बाकी
as
काही
well,
इश्यू
but
नाही
at the end, the
मला
Dark
इतका
Seer
इश्यू
was
नाही आता
mentioned
मी आता
last
स्ट्रीम
year.
करतो तर मला काही एवढा
That's
इश्यू
also
नाही
kind of it could have
Sound
been an
leak
option for
होतो
OG
काय
to
अरे
build
मला
up
लक्षात
a
नाही
hero
राहिलं
for the
माझ्याकडे
kind of,
कॉलर माईक पण आहे ना
Dark
ते यूज
Seer
करू
AM
शकतो
match
मी.
with the bounty hunter build could have been good. But they decided to ban it out. I'm expecting OG that the next pick is going to be just a simple Kitrak hero.
मागच्या वेळेस आपण तसंच केलं होतं ना टीआयच्या वेळेस
and then
आठवतं
they
तुला?
एकदा
कॉलर माईक यूज
तुला
केलं
जर का तू इथे आला असतं बरंच आहे पण काय काय गोष्टी तू बोलशील ना कुरिअर करायला जेव्हा पण तुला लागेल म्हणजे काय काय वस्तू पाहिजे तुला कुरिअर करायला तर माझ्याकडे एक माईक आहे मी एक माईक घेऊन ठेवलेला पण तो मी कधी युजच नाही केला कारण की माझं डेस्कवर व्हायब्रेशन भरपूर आहे पीसी माझा पीसी वरती असतो ना
There's like the classic void spirit.
तो व्हायब्रेशन पकडतो
The Pangu got banned and the
पण
Storm
माईक
got banned.
तसं काय बोलतो असं हातात उचलून हे केला तर व्यवस्थित आहे काय म्हणजे पकडत नाही तो तर थोडंफार काय बोलतो
Okay, that's very curious. And it's about the physical
नॉइज
damage, right?
फिल्टर वगैरे लावून
They do
आणि
slaughter. It's really valuable and it's also used in
कदाचित
anti-mage. I
जमलं
show you-
तुला
you
तर
show something, I show you what I want.
1,000चा
Now they have a chance to
माईक आर्म
maybe
घेऊन
help this AM
करू
deal
शकतो
with the slaughter, but with the lich ban and
तर
the
मी
edge
तुला
ban,
माईक देतो
and to
त्यावेळेस
pick as a
आणि मी
support,
युजच नाही
Colin
केला तो
definitely doesn't want
कधी
to go there, I wanna say.
असाच
Even though
पडलेला आहे
Blinding Light has a bit of value.
The Lich Band looks so good right now, right?
Yes,
What has been
so
so
good.
good against Slaughter and with the AM. And
चल
obviously
नहीं
EG
मामा,
right
अरे
now
अभी
wants to
तक
look at their support what they want to
अंदर
pick
में
against the Slaughter because they see
भरपूर
probably the
टाइम
option
लागणार
Slaughter bounty.
You really want stuns. On EG, you need some stuns. If you don't have stuns or some way to stop combos, it becomes really straightforward for OG to play certain fights. Like one stun leads to death, but also the laning phase. If you don't have a way to stop the growth, there you have something that's going to help definitely.
ये लोग ने X को ban नहीं किया है. X pick करना चाहिए Medusa के against.
I'm just saying it because I think they did it yesterday. It is just really the last year that I've seen the pool, the Stormers.
हाँ वो player उसका नाम Dirancho. वही मैं बोल रहा था Gaming Gladiator है ना?
I think
उसको समझ में ही नहीं आया.
Because Ember doesn't kill the support
X ये कर सकता है करके आके मार गया वो है.
They're going to need to buy some time for this AM. So do you think a void would be better for that kind of tempo, or would you rather?
They're both good for that reason, like to try and buy time and do stuff in real rooms.
I think personally also that Void Spirit is not as easy to counter as Ember Spirit on the lane. The laning behaves a little bit differently, and personally I think Searing Chain, like all the Ember spells really do not touch Medusa at all.
Does Bounty Hunter punish mid lane?
Yes, it does. Very hard, very hard. The question is BZM, is he ready to play it? Probably. He's a very talented player. If EG has to think about that as well, that BZM can play the bounty mid, then oof.
मेरे को मैप इतना बड़ा किया ना.
Of course he can play bounty.
I mean,
that's
sorry.
I'm sorry. Of course he can.
Jenkins, what was that game we saw where it was a bounty versus Ember?
What is this?
Wow. Okay, so Whisper offlane.
Yes.
Coddle, I guess. And
or anti-mage.
Offlane anti-mage? They're dodging the AM slaughter lane, putting Naga carry.
Oh.
So you want the AM to find the Medusa on lane. That's the idea.
Okay, so they will go Vanguard into probably Diffusal then.
Well, so this AM is purely an off-lane answer.
You know, the funny thing is Mind Control was the one that came up with this off-lane anti-mage build in the first place.
This is so interesting.
It was Mind Control and Seb, I think, that were playing it a lot.
But it's also very strange to have AM Naga on the same team. I mean, there's a big...
It is very strange.
That is so weird to see.
The team fight is underwhelming, to say the least.
They now force OG into picking an illusion response though. They have slaughtered Bounty Medusa. Those heroes are incredibly bad against illusions for the most part of the game. And the Darkseer, Pangolier...
Lesh is not the best hero versus AM, but it's of course an illusion counter. But there's a lot. I mean, there's also Ember Spirit that they could choose themselves.
Also not the best against AM, but of course playable. Yeah. So I mean,
but with Slaughter it changes a lot. I think Ember with certain builds, with Slaughter on your team versus AM, it's a different game. AM actually loses those normal Manta timings that he has on Ember. Okay. What's happening?
Oh my god!
All these comps are gonna be so bad after this. Oh my
this
god!
This is 5D chess right here.
Wow. Okay.
Who's playing what?
Okay.
What is the plan with this Ursa?
It's a +5 Dusa.
Oh, so it's a bait Dusa.
Calling in?
I think it's a +5 Dusa.
Is there room for an off-lane Medusa where she just tanks up and the whole thing is her ult?
But where's the Slardar go then?
He goes.
No, it's Slaughter position 1, Bounty position 5, fighting anti-mage on the lane. This AM is gonna just cry. He's like, why am I in this game, you know? And then you're gonna have Ursa versus another melee hero mid. I see it.
Okay, sure. It's your team, and I'll tell you another.
I look forward to seeing how this plays out.
Wow, and they're banning mids. Okay, that's actually so crazy. So you see Slaughter, Ursa, Medusa, you're still banning mids. Obviously, you're thinking this Medusa is probably gonna be a support.
Yeah, they're calling that either one of them is support. Like, I mean, it's not Ursa support. I would bet on that, but
that's such an interesting.
I've seen Slaughter support before.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's actually not bad.
But you think it's more likely than the Dusa support then? And it's an Ursa offlane? MC does play offlane Ursa, sure. But that means it's going to be a Slaughter Dusa lane.
But I don't know, if, would offlane Ursa even do well against the Naga? I feel like you want to put the Ursa against the AM, right? But then where does the Slardar go?
Man, this is so weird to
also,
see.
does Matthew play Naga on EG?
I don't know.
I mean, that would be over crazy.
You know what? Okay, maybe it's a Medusa support or mid because then the two side laners are Ursa and Slardar, and then both of those will do well against AM, so you cannot rotate the lanes.
And Kunkka bans.
Yeah, the bans are kicking in. OG banned the Tusk. Leaving the Void Spirit in.
Yeah.
That is like the last hero. I'm not sure what other mid laners are even left. The pool is getting really scarred.
I like the Tusk ban for the heroes that OG currently have. I also think if I was drafting, I would probably ban the Void Spirit, but there might be something that I'm missing.
Maybe OG is also thinking, I don't know if they can do it, but if they would actually run the bounty mid against Void Spirit.
मेरा game चालू हो गया. अभी चालू हुआ इनका.
I'm not sure if they're able to.
I think you could run Ursa, Slaughter, or Bounty.
3 of these heroes do well mid. Yeah, that's the issue.
बहुत delay रे.
Interesting.
I mean, it's also a good pick for them. Very good pick for them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Keeps even maybe the flex up on the EG or what if? Good ban.
I think it's very good ban. Better than the Void Spirit even.
Yeah, and the Void
ये
Spirit
कस्टम है ना. जब इन गेम जाएंगे तभी दिखेगा अपने को.
They could also
15 मिनट तो हुआ रहेगा.
Language, can you guys see it? Oh.
रुक ना अपना स्ट्रीम पे देखते हैं ना अपना स्ट्रीम कब से चालू है.
Primal Beast maybe for C Smile against the 3 melee heroes. Now that Deuce is not a
नहीं
core.
मोबाइल पे बोल रहा हूँ मैं मोबाइल पे देख रहा हूँ.
Okay.
Talked about it, but this is so weird.
But they're flexing it with the Coddle and the
Is the Coddle flexing core?
I mean, the Coddle could be a core, the Naga could be a support, they flex it because of Venos being a blind pick, right?
Yeah. But EG played Coddle for this tournament? Yeah?
They play Coddle offline, yeah, they have this tournament.
This tournament? Yeah.
Yeah, they have.
Okay.
But with this Veno being picked, if it is possibly a +3 against Ursa, does the Coddle have to go mid?
C Smile also plays Veno mid, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we know for sure the Veno and AM
There's the voice.
There's the voice.
Okay, we're gonna have answers. We're gonna have answers soon.
Okay,
मतलब रफ आंसर दिया है मैंने फटाफट
I
एक
want to tell me which
10-15
hero
मिनट
goes
के
which
ऊपर
role,
हुआ
please.
So
वो
we
तो
got
पक्का है.
+4 bounty.
+5 minutes.
+5 reduces good call still.
Okay, C Smile.
It's C Smile.
C-Smile AM.
Coddle, Whisper, Veno.
भाई इन लोग देखना
Okay, so the
कोरी
C-Smile AM
कोरे
would have been my last guess out of all of these. This is really super.
MC
दोनों
Slaughter.
टीम में.
So, okay.
नोटेल बोलता है
Obviously it'll be
कि अभी इसके बाद
Uragi
Wait.
on
पॉप्स
the
एकदम
Ursa and Beast.
जन्म हो जाएगा.
+5 Naga.
This is wrong.
No, this must be wrong. There's no way
Because
Prakash
this
is
is
saying
Must be
here.
wrong. Podcast
Are they going
made
carry
carry. Let's go.
CM?
Production. Wow, this is really.
This is
I
the
mean,
worst
if
draft for this to screw up on.
there is an option that they misclicked, but
इन लोग
I would
ये
not
कैमरा
want to
वगैरह
miss
यूज
the
करते
video of
हैं.
the main stage.
You don't get to
प्रोग्रेड
remake
करा
this.
कैमरा लगता है
You
मुझे.
don't get advanced like
हैंडीकैम जैसा जो है.
Oh my god. I
Who was
hope
it
this
because
is
who was it that went through with it? And it was actually the old EG
इतना
had
बड़ा
to
setup है
play
तो
RTZ
pro
and
pro
fly.
वाली
They
चीज़ है.
misclicked
Yes.
and it was fly click.
what
Yeah.
that actually happened. Oh my god.
नोटेल का हेयर स्टाइल देख.
I'm so confused.
I hope it's a production error, and if it's not, maybe a CM carry is a thing, bro. It's new patch.
सही ना ये जब भी अपने लो में था फुल डिप्रेस लगता था.
I don't know.
जैसे TI जीता अभी का कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल हाई है.
Attack speed talent.
That's true. That's the answer. That's the answer to +5 juicer. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
मतलब उसका ये लाइफ ही पूरा चेंज हो गया. अभी तो क्या बोल सकते हैं. अभी हाई पूरा पीक पे है ना वो लाइफ में. खुश भी लग रहा है अभी बहुत. बेचारे का ये था ड्रीम.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So
Okay.
someone was missing from the start, but yeah. So somebody was missing from the lobby. They weren't in the
हाँ
lobby at the
TI
start.
जीतने का.
So we're gonna
और
remake the
फ्लाई ने
lobby.
इसको छोड़ दिया था.
I assume
अभी वो फ्लाई पूरा विलन बन गया था वो कुछ टाइम
No,
के
there's
लिए.
gonna be a redraft.
Dota के
But at the same time, I do think
छोड़ दिया ना उसने टीम
players
को.
aren't aware of who's
नोटेल
picking
के
what
टीम
because
को.
this part of the change has happened that you don't get to see what the enemy is picking
Right.
or everybody's picked their heroes. So
Yeah, this would be a little bit sad, of course, but now we're in the situation, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess OG picked actually the heroes that they wanted to pick in that order, the way it looks like. Maybe EG did not, but
I really wanted to see that game play out. Though. I really wanted to see
Naga
that.
था.
Cast main. Yeah.
I'm still confused. Like, is Pakaz anti-mage or is Pakaz Naga Siren? I'm still not sure what.
So Napakas must be the Naga.
Must be Naga, right?
I'm not gonna spill the beans here in case they can hear us, but I hope the game gets remade fast. And still, I'm not sure if anyone knows which lanes are guaranteed.
Yeah,
I think that's probably what both teams are thinking and talking about really hard right
मेडुसा
now.
ना.
Yeah.
So just talk me through this.
इसका
+5
माना
reducer.
वही
Is it
burn
good?
करना
Was it just a
तकलीफ
bait?
है.
What's the deal?
I think.
उस
I
दिन
mean, it can
मैजिक
be
स्टिक एक
quite-
मेरे
I've seen
टीम
the
में
tops
था.
and tops. It can be a hero that is hard
उसको
to
मारना
kill,
तो
but
उसको
can also be
इम्पॉसिबल
hard
हो रहा
to
था
slow
सामने
gaze
वाली
and
टीम
low
को.
HP basically
इसने
doesn't do
मैजिक
much.
स्टिक
They
यूज
put a
किया.
+5 because it felt it got too counterpoint.
पांचों उन लोग के सामने वाले मर गए. बोलते जीजी. एंड
Medusa
पास.
is also probably even like a solid laner with the Mystic Snake buff and everything, so curious to see how that plays out.
It just doesn't work with AM. That's the problem.
Yeah,
To find the other lane.
with the spell shield. Yeah, of course.
Because even if you bounce, it goes back to you. You bounce it back.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to find the lanes.
You'll find the other lane on the Dusa, I imagine, because AM can't just dodge when a support dodges.
इनकी मॉनिटर पे हेडसेट
And what's the idea with the
हेडसेट का भी
Venom here?
स्टैंड है
I mean,
पीछे.
you've got a Slaughter, you've got an Ursa.
So I think
शायद
this Venom
BenQ
pick was
के
just
monitor लग
really
रहे
a
हैं.
flex pick for EG because
Flex
they
pick
did not
and
see the matchup.
super value, right?
Yeah.
Venom versus what is it? Ursa, Bound.
Slaughter,
अभी देखा मैं.
Yeah, all these heroes
हेडसेट
get
रखने
annoyed.
के लिए जगह
Even
है.
Medusa gets
मॉनिटर
very
वालों
kited,
ने दिया.
right? So
Yeah, all these heroes hate getting galed up, getting slowed down by the plague wards. Maybe you can't some slaughter blinks in fights, and they flex between mid and off lane. Curious to see if the Coddle is going mid or the Venom's gonna go to the mid lane. I really just don't think it was C-Smile who's gonna go AM mid. But
Yeah, no,
I might
that
be
would
wrong.
have been interesting, but I guess we're going to do. I guess they do what a lobby and just quickly bosh through the
yeah,
draft and pick
go
up
all
the same
pick.
heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I do think an AM mid would do very well against Void Spirit.
You think? Just take all his mana, what's he going to do?
I think so.
I do. At the same time, I think Venomancer crushes Void Spirit though. Like, or maybe not crush, but I think it's pretty favorable. I think Caudle would be free for Void Spirit.
But I think you really rely on getting the runes if you're playing Void Spirit in this matchup. If you don't get some help with the region, the Veno can start taking over. And
for sure, you need some assistance.
You need assistance, but you're also very susceptible to getting Void Spirit. Any +1 with the Void Spirit, having the spells ready, you could die.
Exactly, it's like one of those. It's similar to Shadow Fiend. This hero crushes you 1v1, but if he dies once, then you can completely recover your game. So it's a lot लेके crisp rotation.
Doggy को लेके जाता है क्या?
Pet exactly. If the Venom was mid, goes mid, it will be a way more free game, way more open game.
एक बार भी लेके नहीं गया.
Will just focus on his own farm.
Oh, MC laughing. That's nice to see.
Oh, MC is like, hey Tiger, don't you want to play Slaughter? I play Bounty. You know, like, I don't know. Yeah, fun drafting though. Really enjoy it. Like leaving the Medusa through and the Caudle, just having this dance around.
Yeah, it was really unusual.
Yeah.
इतना टाइप क्यों लग रहा है भाई?
Thank you, OG EG.
Yeah, this was the most unpredictable draft of the tournament.
इतना टाइम क्यों लग रहा है? अभी तो इन लोग का हीरो पिक करके भी हो गया.
Here in the lower bracket first game, but if there is a time to do it, it's also first game in the best of three.
The funny thing is that the team that, like for example, EG, you're having first pick here, right? You expect it to be banned, and it throws you out of the preparations that you did.
Yeah.
You expect it to be out, and all of a sudden you can pick it, or
then
they decide to leave it in, I guess, and take the Caudle instead. Very interesting.
Hopefully they ran through the scenario, but
हेडफोन निकाल दिया, earphone लगा रहा है.
ईयरफोन पे हेडफोन लगा रहा है वो. शायद वो हेडफोन नॉइस कैंसलेशन रहेगा. बाहर का आवाज नहीं आना चाहिए ना. रोशन विशन करते रहे.
Pyrian Flax doing great. Thank you so much, Pyrian. Synderin, lower bracket, Berlin Major, OG versus EG. Both teams hit the all random button, it seems, because what in God's green earth did they just pick?
I don't know. It's really, I love to see drafts like these where, you know, the teams try to one up each other at every turn, flexing the heroes around. It's giving me some, I don't remember which patch this was, but it's giving me some old school vibes of some years ago when you would have like 4 or 5 flex heroes at the end of the draft, and it was always this like mystery what was going to come out.
Yeah.
So let's try to summarize what has ended up happening here. Our first pick Medusa for OG has been relegated to position 5. They're running carry Ursa, which is pretty normal.
Yeah.
Slaughter off lane, mid Void Spirit, and a 4 bounty. So the Medusa is the odd one out there. Now for EG's side, we have a mid AM, off-lane Veno with a 4 Caudle, which, you know, is somewhat normal, I suppose.
That's the most normal thing, maybe.
And Maiden Naga in the safe lane, depending on how they put their supports and whether they start tri-lanes, etc. But yeah, the 5 Dusa, who would have thought that one of the, if not the hero that is regarded as the most powerful one in the patch right now, would feel threatened enough to go to position 5. That is
ये फार्म हो गया.
मेडुसा
फार्म हो गया.
This ahead of time.
तो मेरे को नहीं लगता कुछ कर पाएंगे.
It's a flex hero between 1 and 3 that we've seen, but they have to know it's going to get hard countered, or at least attempted to be hard countered. So
माना burn करके मार सकते हैं ना.
I mean, Stormstormer was saying he's seen position 5
मगर क्या बोला?
Medusa.
शायद आने नहीं देंगे.
That
मेडुसा के नजदीक
does not sound super good, but if it's actually successful, then surely we'll see a nerf that can play any position. Matthew takes a blood grenade, getting run down right now. Whisper gets off the Gale to help save his life, and will do so successfully. And actually TP's in to try to take out Kitrak, but the Mystic Snake is there. Position 5 Medusa online, pops the Mango. Thus has a lot more HP on top of him. Finally, the Medusa will fall, and Taiga looks to be next on the list. So OG end up getting 2 kills, but first blood goes the way of OG.
Ah yes, the way we all expected this game to start with these heroes. Obviously, Venomancer doesn't get to look at the lane until minute 1. And by the way, we have some funny lane swapping shenanigans. We're looking at top because that's where the kill action is, but C-Smile started in the safe lane on Anti-Mage, and OG started mid with Slardar. So it was Slardar against Naga mid. OG wanted to avoid that matchup, so they lane swap. Panda is going to die here to 3 heroes, of course. So now the state of the game is Naga is now in the safe lane against Slardar, and we have a mid AM against Void Spirit matchup. I don't think I have ever seen this matchup, but I will say it sounds pretty good on paper for the Anti-Mage. And maybe OG want to swap again. Yep, BZM is going for a little bit of a stroll to the bottom lane.
Yep, and that's one of the advantages of being able to use these gates as well, to go back and forth. Musical chairs, as it were. Still 3 members of OG in this top lane. We've seen the prowess of the bounty hunter time and time again in this match with the stun coming after Shadow Walk. They definitely have to keep track of Kitrak. And I mean, I assume the Lotus Flowers will be very important for OG.
Yeah?
As Kitrak could certainly use it.
Nagin.
This tri-lane from EG is nasty, by the way. The bounty hunter is actually very important in this, but it looks like Taiga will perhaps make a little bit of a rotation. He was covering the water rune and takes that away, but yeah, it's a triple ranged lane top with infinite mana because they have the Maiden Aura eventually, and they are going to have Chakra from the Coddle, so they can spam Gale, they can spam Blinding Light, they can spam Maiden's 2 spells, and all of that going into the Ursa will make him have a miserable time, and we're seeing that exactly now.
Blinding Light back. Yaragi's in so much trouble. This is going to be a very easy cleanup for EG. That's a big kill. And
Matthew
even though it seems like
actually
a small
opting
thing,
to go 1-1-0. I think this is the first time this tournament we've seen
क्या
that.
चालू है mid में आगे दोनों अभी
Sure, they got the kill there. I actually think the Illuminate was not necessary.
Girlfriend, boyfriend है क्या कोई ex है क्या इन
They
लोग
could
का
have just hit him until he died, but
move on नहीं हो
as
पाया
a
अभी
result,
तक
now the Coddle is a little bit starved. He could use this Healing Lotus if he wants to get some mana. How ironic would it be if Coddle used a Healing Lotus for mana? Well, I guess in this game, everything goes, right? Like, so far, nothing has made sense, so we got lane swapping happening again. C-Smile and MC have swapped lanes, I want to say 4 times now. And the interesting thing about this is that Anti-Mage is Blink, so he should be the faster hero to swap with.
They want to go for this. Blinding Light. Illuminate's coming as well. Yaragi's just going to die again.
Nice deny attempt.
That is rough stuff.
Kitrak's out of mana, actually.
Yeah, Kitrak, like you said, low on mana, but the Mystic Snake getting him to a
maybe
respectable
promo
amount.
Whisper
will tick him away with the Poison Sting.
This is such a good Veno game, by the way. We didn't really get to talk about how good the heroes were because we spend all the time talking about how weird their lineups are. But I really love this last pick Veno from EG. I think it was the perfect pick. It's great against the Slardar, it's great against the Ursa, and it's great against the Bounty. And you're going to get one of those matchups in the side lanes, so you can kind of enforce Whisper to have a good start. And as long as the other lanes go fine, then that should be okay. However, the big winner in all of this seems to be BZM.
Pumpkin
I'm not sure
बोलते हैं
how
उसको
they
इंग्लिश
beat them
में
out by this much on the CS with AM having 15 and Naga on the 13.
मेरे को
BZM has been swapping lanes as well, but just I guess the benefit of having an actual lane clear ability in the Resonant Pulse, he's just been able to shove out the wave and then reset position. Whereas
it is an anti-mage mid. So.
Yeah, EG's heroes, both Naga and AM, need more time to clear the wave than he does. So that's probably the reason. He's just been shoving the wave out and then lane swap.
Random चालू है रे ये game.
Mana, which means he has very low HP.
Support.
Get up a Mystic Snake and
Nagoba dance करती है, Nagoba डालती
has to be very careful. First one thing we didn't mention, Yaragi died and he had to walk all the way back. And he's still only level 3 at 5 minutes as a position 1. You're already going to be suffering from XP when you're working with
laning phase खत्म होने के बाद ये Medusa क्या करेगी?
Adding some insult to injury. We'll see if they try to make that up with
support
wisdom.
हाँ support है वो.
This would be a very good game to carry those off to your cores instead of the supports potentially. Another Illuminate hitting all 3 it looks like. And EG just continuing the pressure in this top lane.
They can just spam all day.
Another Blinding Light, Yaragi. He's going to try to go on top of Matthew, but another Illuminate's coming, and that finishes him off. Matthew somehow lives throughout this engagement. Now Taiga's going to take the Gale. The right clicks with the Frostbite. He will be denied by Kitrak. A little silver lining there for OG, but for their position 1 Ursa, that is death number 3.
They can't win this lane. Like, this is just so unlike the lane for me inherently. Is extremely unfair.
Let's switch to Kitrak being the carry. It is Medusa after.
Ursa with the 23 CS. Good job, buddy. It's time to be supported. Yeah, they've sent Yuragi mid. He's level 3. Into the level 5 AM. I mean, the interesting thing about this is Ursa can probably just, float this lane even with a level disadvantage. It's a good matchup against AM. You don't care about getting mana burn. You can just keep hitting back into him. And BZM is level 6, so he can make moves. I really like OG's approach to solving this problem because if you keep these static lanes, Ursa's just going to keep getting killed. Like that lane. Maiden Coddle Veno.
तीन लोग आ गए mid में.
Absolutely disgusting lane.
Taiga and BZM both smoked up. Whisper looks
मारे
to
गए
be
मेरे
the
को.
gank recipient. That's going to be an easy blow up for OG. So first rotation from BZM, and obviously providing a lot of space for Yuragi to finally get some farm on this Ursa. Panda going to take an astral step, but no more to come from BZM. And the Wisdom Rune's about to spawn. There's the stun from Taiga, so that's a freebie for him. And the other one is still left to its own devices. Nobody's even on the way. And there we go. We have a TP from the bounty. BZM, he's going to take a Gale, though.
He's in big trouble.
Astral step in 3 seconds. Does he have enough HP? Attempting to TP out.
Nice call.
And he'll be fine. So despite all of this weird stuff that's been going on, OG have a 1k lead right now.
Yeah, they've just found more CS, and again, it's primarily the Void Spirits. Resonant pulls into lane swapping, and despite having these deaths in lane, Yuragi still has been able to float a pretty good CS.
Mind control
like he
अच्छा है
has
ना?
39, the Veno is on 24.
अभी Arsa भी almost normal हो गया.
Veno obviously not one of the best blasters in the game exactly, but I did think this was going to look better with the amount of kills they had in the top lane. But OG, yeah, I think, I don't want to say everything is going according to plan, because I don't know what the plan is, but it's good enough.
Probably not even the players at this point, considering how often they change lanes already.
Ketra gets very low top. He will get some mana here, but
he's going to walk it off.
He's actually pretty close to dying, because this Poison Sting is level 3.
115 HP, yeah.
He is going to run
Mana Void, first of the game for C-Smile. Help get the kill onto Taiga. And yeah, no mana on Kitrak now. Yeah, I mean, there's no axe in the game, at least. That's the silver lining for them. Oh, big Astral Step with 2 heroes, but more to come as Matthew and company surrounding BZM. Another Astral Step is enough to take out Panda at the very least. BZM drained of all his mana. There's no mana void to come. There's Yuragi now coming to help save the day. You see Urshak off his C-Smile, no blink available. Double kill for BZM. Very aggressive, and it works out despite being 1v3 initially.
Yeah, he had a lot of one charges there, so he was able to dissimulate and reset that no problem, and then chase them down. The classic Ursa coming out of the jungle to help kill AM in the river, minute 9.
After
see it all the time.
Game. Yeah, very normal. And I mean, his build looks like it will be normal. A Battle Fury will eventually be built. It would be very fitting if it was just something really weird. We'll stick to more traditional route this time around. And from the AM's perspective, Mr. C-Smile, I mean, in terms of network, he's behind Yuragi, despite being mid the entire game.
What do you buy on AM in this game is my big question. Like, you've got Vanguard. Are you going Diffusal? You're not going Battle Fury with a Naga. There's not going to be enough creeps on the map for both of you.
Right.
So, like, this is my probably biggest question mark about how this game plays out from here on out, because Pakaz will be very fine on the Naga, and he has some great core matchups. Naga is very good against Ursa, I would say, against the Slardar, so the win condition is pretty clear for EG. If Pakaz gets big and they start taking fights when the Naga has 2 or 3 core items, they can definitely win these fights, but how does AM bridge the gap? Like, what do you offer? Uh-oh, he blinked in. Good blind,
he blinked in for the rune, but it was spawned bottom. It is an invis. Yeah, that's a good question. We'll see what the itemization is after this this Vanguard for C-Smile. I mean, it feels like C-Smile does get the invis, but they have the vision right now. Aether Remnant is there, locks him down. Another death for the mid anti-mage.
Nice bait. Taiga was just sitting in Shadow Walk on the rune, expecting AM to blink and take it, and they just pile on him. He doesn't have blink cooldown, obviously, and they have a sentry overlooking that rune spot as well. So despite him getting the rune, he was still retreating to the left, and they could see him.
But back to the itemization on AM, like if you go for the, like you said, Battle Fury, you just don't have enough farm for the 2 heroes. But if you go Diffusal, you're basically countering a position 5 Medusa. Is that worth it?
That's the problem. Like
Radiance was the last patch. I don't know if you can. I mean, it doesn't look that good this game, even if you were able to get a decent timing.
I mean, is there some sort of route you can go here where you play like sort of utility and you get like Halberd? Because clearly the OG cores, right, as you mentioned, you don't want to counter the Medusa. That's not going to be enough. The Diffusal is kind of interesting if you're ahead in the fight and you can just quickly mana burn Ursa or the Slardar, but from OG's perspective, I think they're very happy playing against this AM right now. Their core matchups are good against him. So if I'm OG, I just need to strategize right now about how do we solve Naga. I think the AM is going to solve itself almost already with how this game has gone. So if Ursa keeps building, he's closing in on a Battle Fury. MC has Vanguard and 2/3 of the Blink Dagger. Ismail will lay into Taiga here, but no vision.
Game crash
Able to get away, has very little.
He really wants that courier.
Get dusted because they know he wants the courier. Was it worth it? Maybe. I don't know. He is only level 5 right now.
It's gonna be a no from me, dog. That's not worth it. And
but it's satisfying.
He wasted a branch.
And he creates space to get this
courier worth
Yep.
it.
So it was worth it.
Yes, exactly.
They might have got the tower without.
So what kind of itemization do you need to
बच जा
go
तो
as
kill
a
XP मेरे को
for
मिलता है
against the Naga Siren?
मेरे को EXP
Because normally we would see, like in the past, maybe a Radiance or Mjolnir, something to that effect. As MC is going to get rooted for the time being, but we'll just sprint away. He's
I
still
think
working on his blink.
so. Ursa's going to go Fury, and he probably has to buy BKB this game because of the sheer amount of stupid slows and roots and everything the Radiant side has. So I think he probably goes Fury, BKB, and a dagger in some order, and then Basher. And maybe the Slara could go for Mjolnir after the dagger. I think that's an interesting idea. It's a little bit concerning if they both go BKBs too early, because then I think they don't have enough to just fight the Naga head on minute 25 when she has her stuff. So maybe one of them has to not go BKB. But let's not forget the X factor of the Stone Gaze. It's 5 Medusa, but this spell is actually really good this game.
OG का ही game है मेरे को तो लगता है.
Going for Roche. It's already at half health, but
they have an idea this is happening.
From EG that pops, so they have an idea now. Oh, they run into Taiga, so he's actually tanking the gank. So nicely done from him. Might even be safe here potentially, but no, he's going to be completely surrounded, out of mana now. Mana Void is there as well. MC getting slowed down. Yuragi showing himself, wants to go on top of C-Smile with that newly picked up Aegis. C-Smile, obviously a lot of members of EG here ready to fight, but the Stone Gaze from the support Medusa is enough to keep them at bay for the time being. Gonna get rooted now, but BZM coming from the back line, looking for the nice astral step onto several heroes with the dissimulate to follow. Panda's done for, and now it looks like EG on the back foot.
Bar.
You get approached now by BZM. Do they have the lockdown? MC not able to get close enough for a crush, but Whisper looks like he'll go down just from the right clicks alone. So OG, they get the Aegis, they get a couple kills. Now they have a 5K lead, and of course Track is now online for Taiga.
And a crucial mistake from EG. They tried to kill Medusa. Don't try that. Don't try it at home, guys. Just do something else with your game. Do something else with your day. Especially when it's a 5, right? So the risk reward here is just stacked against you. And I understand that you're tempted to try to dive for this, but keep in mind the enemy team has the Aegis. They have positional advantage, and the Void Spirit, when you're stacking up, is just going to get extreme value out of all of his spells. BZM in that fight, I think, got a 3-hero Astral Step, 4 or 5-man Resonant Pulse, and then at that point he can actually just tank the enemy team as well, right? He's just getting so much barrier.
Matthew tracked up under the tower, doesn't matter. Whisper's here though, gets off the mech, gonna delay it. They do find the kill nonetheless. OG ready to be ultra aggressive here as EG. EG's a very aggressive team in nature. They're going to get another initiation, this time on the C-Smile. Blinks into the tower. Stone Gaze not going to have too big of an effect. Now OG looks
The map is shrinking for them really fast. They're falling behind, and they're against Bounty Hunter. Oh, is there a Mana Void here? There actually is. Chris could probably just one-shot Kitrak here. Oh, definitely. But he would expose himself to being counterplayed. Can't really go for it.
Kitrak very slow by having the drums online now. It's actually pretty farmed for 8th position.
Rocking a nice tier 1 token, our favorite neutral item. He's been having this for a while.
That's good passive effects for Medusa.
Acha.
Basically showing that she's so overpowered, doesn't need a neutral item, essentially.
Yes.
That's right.
It's
I've been keeping an eye.
style
Okay.
points.
C-Smile is going to Fusel. He was holding off for quite a while.
He went Orb of Corrosion.
Yeah, I think he's not sure what he wants to go. It feels bad to go Diffusal, but what else can he possibly do? Freezing Field, set up by the Frostbite. Taiga looking to cancel it with a right click. Pavis keeps him alive, but the Mana Void is enough. Now Yuragi turning his sights onto Panda. Foxy in rage. He has the Aegis. He's getting drained of all his mana though.
No,
available. Beautiful crush from MC. Can he actually finish anybody off though? He's taking the brunt of the damage. They do eventually find C Smile as MC falls to Pakaz. So a little bit of trade action. Still the age is intact for OG.
Medallion भी बनाया
Now Yuragi with the blink dagger so he can follow up the initiation from MC in the future.
Great crush from MC, but they're chasing the anti-mage with Void Spirit. That's the hero you want to connect on that crush and get all that AoE damage in when you hit those 3 heroes. But yeah, they get the AM trade-off instead. In the end, might have actually been a bad crush, but it's very, very tempting to go on that. But they had different plans in the fight, and it turns out to be a pretty even trade. I think there was track on none of the kills, right? Because he died first.
You know where C Smile is.
Yeah.
Put a ward into
but
their
is
face
he worth
as well.
thinking? This game is all Pakaz if you're an EG fan. Like, this is the one hero that's going to save you. It's not going to be anyone else.
Yep, and he's had a very good game thus far.
All right, some mana burn onto BZM here.
BZM taking some damage from C Smile. MC on the back line, ready to jump. Drums are activated by Kit Rack. Initiation on the Whisper. He's going to pop the mech. C Smile focusing all his efforts on the BZM. Gets the Mana Boy, but it's not enough for a kill. The Ensnare keeping me at bay. The Stone Gaze, though, nice counter action.
He's dead.
BZM, he's stuck in the trees. Dissimulate. Looks like they're going to be spotted by the Plague Wards. And C Smile jumps in. Another beautiful Resonant Pulse. BZM will finally get drained of his mana and his life. As Pakaz, he was getting gone on, has to Song TP. So good engagement from EG, a 1 for 2.
That's a big kill. They get the Void Spirit down, and the kill bounty goes to Anti-Mage. So now he's close to his Diffusal. Usually core kills core mid 18, they have a mega kill streak. Damn, this is impactful.
I mean, if they can drain the Medusa's mana, regardless of her position, being position 5, that is, we have to say for the millionth time. So team Medusa के खिलाफ बनाया. I mean, the mana void will be considerable amount of damage. So it just depends on positioning at that point.
तो ये पूरी मेहनत क्या अभी वो diffusal बना रहा है एंटी में.
Hit rack. Looks like he's
देखना भूल गया कि वो एक साथ
Solar Crest.
40 के ऊपर
So they'll have 2 diffusals now. Anti-Mage will complete his, Naga has hers, and is working on Butterfly, which is insane this game. The Ursa as well as Slardar are fully physical, single target damage reliant, and Naga gets a lot of EHP by buying this item. Already has the Manta to dispel Corrosive Haze. And it makes me wonder which path OG are going to go with their itemization, because this doesn't feel like a game that they can just, you know, overpower the Naga right now and take full map control. It was looking like that could be happening 5 minutes ago, but EG kind of weathered the storm, and they've effectively bridged the gap to get Naga where she needs to be at this point in time. Pakaz will probably go for, I would imagine, a Heart after this Butterfly, or maybe a Scotty, one or the other. Unless he wants to go for a very aggressive build and have a lower hit point pool, but I don't think that's worth it this game. And BZM has completed Deso. So they have
Echo Saber, Deso, we've been seeing that time and time again on the Void Spirits at this tournament. And he's going to be spotted. Pakaz looking for an ensnare, but a quick Astral Step from BZM and instant Pavis on him as well. Very quick reactions from OG. But Pakaz and company getting control of their triangle again.
नागा ने डिफ्यूजल बनाया क्या क्या है नागा के पास?
And from the Venomancer's perspective, you think this has had a big impact on the game at all?
Oh, nice rune snag. And snare.
Freezing field, illuminate to come. And that is a kill onto BZM. Nice setup from EG. They might be able to get the tier 1 tower on top of that.
That's that level 4 Frostbite against Void Spirit. He doesn't have a dispel of any kind. He's now starting to go for a Manta, but that's a big kill. They steal away the rune, they get the kill on Void, they get the mid tower. And they might even find Taiga here. Definitely pinging out his location. Blink Dust. Yep. He's dead.
He's going to go for the TP out, forcing out the Mana Void. A nice pickup from OG, or from EG, that is. And it is 20 minutes, so Tormentors are technically available. See how much each team prioritizes that. I mean, okay, answer me this. This is a really hard one. This goes really late. What lineup do you think is better? Considering Medusa's going for, I mean, obviously this is support, but it's going to be a support build. It's not like you're building her into a carry eventually, right?
I mean, how late are we talking?
Let's say tier 5 neutral territory, 60 minutes. I love these theoretical questions.
Yeah,
Break your brain. Too much processing power needed. Yep.
Naga ka weapon
See, sometimes for stuff like this, you could consult the win expectancy graph, but I think it isn't working because it's never seen this game before.
Yeah.
It doesn't know what it is.
5K leader
I'm not gonna trust that percentage for anything. I feel like this game is, from my perspective, even right now. Like it's kind of, and keep this in mind too. The players don't really have the biggest frame of reference for this game either, and it makes for really interesting moments when you kind of you need to improvise, right? This is a, speaking of which, great play from Yuragi. Going to be grabbing a shard for MC on the enemy side of the map.
Wow, that's a good shard.
So OG got both shards. That's pretty big. That's a major gold swing in their favor.
EG
randomly
in the meantime, trying to take Roche, which is obviously a big steal from any Ursa lineup.
Going to be tanking that with an AM Pavis with Vanguard.
हाँ मगर आइटम नीचे रखेगा तो नेटवर्क कम दिखाई देता है.
That OG not really reacting to this.
They might be unaware that it's
शायद या फिर इसका शार्ड भी रहेगा बाकी लोगों के
And if OG
पास.
do show up for this, Naga can song and try to make a good moment out of it. But OG will be too late. This is big that EG get this. It's Cheese. Guess they put the Aegis on Pakaz. Yep. Cheese on AM, a classic mid-game Cheese carrier.
Yep. Of course.
I guess it was the best hero to put it on. You could put it on Veno too, to be fair, but I think it's more likely that C-Smile will be the target. And if you're Veno and you get targeted here, as long as you get your barrier off, if you get off Crimson, if you get off your mech and a Gale, you could probably die after that. I expect him to get a little bit of a mana pool here. Whisper rocking 540 mana. Not the most. His ult is pretty expensive. Has reduced the cost by 5% with the Fairies Trinket, but I think he can barely get all his stuff off if he's full mana.
Yeah, interesting है मेरे को तो interesting लग रहा है.
The Roche is definitely something EG needed because their
funny लग रहा है मर क्या बोल
network
रहा
has
है.
been going in
इतना भी
OG's
ज़्यादा
favor for
funny
a
नहीं
little
लग
bit
रहा है.
now.
मैं
I mean,
बोर
we're
हो
stuck
रहा
at 6K for quite a while, but a couple track kills help elevate the status of OG, and then those shards that adds net worth into the pool as well. As Yuragi actually picks up a Diffusal Blade, he's going to be going for. Is he actually going to finish the Disperser right away? Because that's what he has queued up.
इससे अच्छा मैं ये खेलता अपना battle
Dispel
cup.
action for the Gale, I suppose.
Battle
Blinding
cup
Light,
था.
Dispel Gale, Dispel Frostbite.
Okay. Initiated on for now. Yuragi's going to jump in, going on top of Pakaz again. Aegis is there. He's going to song a little bit early.
They want to fight with us?
Maybe they can take out Taiga on the back line here.
Oh, they do.
They spot him. They dust him, but there's a jump in again from Yuragi. He blows up Matthew right off the bat. And Taiga still being pursued by Pakaz. They'll find that kill, so it's a 1-for-1 as MC jumps in, gets a crush, and bashing up Whisper right now. Yuragi versus Pakaz. Pakaz out of mana thanks to the Diffusal Blade as Whisper finally drops his MC's BKB is online. Mana Void destroys the support Medusa. 3 dead for OG. Pakaz and company focusing down MC now. That'll be a 4th kill going the way of EG. Now C-Smile pursuing Yuragi again. Oh, and there's a lot of Fury Swipes. That is a done AM. Not able to live despite using the cheese before that.
He did not keep track of that counter.
Like,
Ursa has the level 10 talent for the Fury Swipes reset time, and this fight was so long. Even Naga couldn't pursue. She was still 12 stacked from the earlier fight. We're going to see a replay here. So how many stacks on C-Smile? Wait. It's just corrosive haze. I think he had no stacks on it. Is that for real? Huh. There's no indicator, right? He's literally just...
Okay, he just...
All right, it's just the haze, and he blinks in and just gets
No, he has 10
blasted.
stacks at the end.
Yeah, well, Yuragi hit him a couple times.
So that happens.
All right.
So I don't even know who that favors. Obviously...
Until AM died, that was amazing for EG. That's just a bit of a blunder there from C-Smile to dive for that. They do keep their Aegis intact on Pakaz, but he couldn't trade the Ursa off in the end. He was out of mana. He was 12 stacked on the Fury Swipes. He's not going to dive the tower. So, but yeah, this is...
Oh, the dust. Yuragi jumps in and 3-shot Panda. Gracious. Another dust. They don't really stack, but Taiga will die. Takes 2 dust to take him out. Be okay with that trade.
Pakaz posing aggressively here, just running straight in. Gets the Diffusal off.
Actually, Diffusal activated on MC, so he's very slow. The Inhibit, if you remember the name.
I do. How could I forget?
And yeah, Aegis, like you said, still there for a minute and a half. We'll see if they get full value out of this or not. And being able to kill Taiga relatively early in these fights can have huge impact because of that track goal. If he's able to get those tracks off, that's when the lead can really snowball in OG's favor.
Just noticed, I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but Matthew doesn't have boots. I feel like this is very rare on supports. Like there's a small subset of supports that can play without boots. That subset is called Io and Monkey King, usually.
Yeah.
But on the Caudle, he gets 25 move speed from the Solar Crest, and the hero is innately pretty fast. He also ended up finding a Bullwhip, but that's not what he was planning for at the time. But yeah, this is interesting to see. This hero
Really
being played
not
without
worth
boots.
the
It's an
500
interesting
gold.
take on the hero. Not very common, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, if he does get jumped by MC or Uragi, I guess he's just dead anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's strange.
You could argue that boots could maybe get you in a better position.
Theoretically, yes. That is true. MC rocking the tier 3 token right now as well. Just chilling with that.
Yeah,
I think these teams actually talk to each other.
एक कैमरा और ये क्या हम बात कर रहे हैं एमसी के बारे में और कैमरा कुछ अलग ही है
ऑटो डाल दिया होगा
वो भी पक गए होंगे
He does choose the Dandelion amulet, which is magic block. Also gives him a little extra move speed and mana.
Gets a barrier if he takes over 75 magic damage, which would be the case from Illuminate, Crystal Nova, and Gale, I think, because it's level 4. So yeah, that Dandelion amulet should proc pretty easily. I'm assuming the 75 damage is after reductions, not before. That actually matters for whether Riptide activates it or not, because it does 85 magical.
Yeah.
Well, see, Smile will be farming up some Ancients. He did go for the Halberd and is... With the Halberd as well as Elven Tunic, he actually got a lot tankier all of a sudden. Now 2 heroes on their side have good evasion. Uragi will obviously adjust to this by buying MKB on Ursa, an item this hero doesn't particularly like to purchase, but in this game it's just a flat-out necessity if you want to be able to stand your ground against these heroes. We'll see if they can find the flank here. Taiga with a good smoke break here, potentially. Will break the AM out and the Naga, and will die.
Find him, but again, worth.
Good play though.
Considering it was the entirety of EG smoking up, could have been a lot worse.
Needs to protect Uragi's farm here, so he has to break that smoke for them, and Uragi immediately says thank you very much. TP's top, gets the bounty and starts farming up here, and obviously not the fastest movers, except the Anti-Mage. Veno is a very slow hero at crossing the map. Naga is decent, obviously takes the gate here, which will help, but it's not like a squad of spirit heroes or whatever that could quickly transform, or transition rather, to top and kill the Ursa there, so he feels very safe just grabbing a little bit of extra farm here, and now things will stall out a bit again.
I'm a little surprised that C-Smile's been able to kind of keep up with the farm, considering he's an AM with no farm mechanic, like no itemization to help him farm at all, right?
The classic, I wonder what
killing these
AMs...
creeps one at a time is just so weird to see on an AM.
Sure, this is relatable for a lot of the viewers at home. It's like 130 CS minute, 29 Anti-Mage. That's like me. That's great.
Yeah.
This is what
I thought this would be a lot worse though. I'm being honest.
Yeah, I just have to be honest. You enter this game and I don't know what I expected, so I can't say whether this is better or worse. It's just so much. It's one of those games that is just a treat to watch because there's like inherent mystery in the game almost. Like it's like both teams are trying to solve a puzzle and they've never really had to solve it before. And the draft is just step number 1.
That's
very
a
nice.
good one.
Cold-blooded.
Yeah, so he'll send out a snake every 12 seconds when targeted with a, I think it's single target spell, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and the snake is single target too. It doesn't bounce.
Right, so makes him a little bit tankier, adds to his net worth. Maybe they don't want that, but that's the 3rd Tormentor killed by OG.
Yep.
EG, I think theirs is still yet to spawn, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Uragi killed it around, I think, minute 21. So the EG one should be coming up sometime soon.
And they only have 1 shard left, which would be BZM. So that'd be a freebie for him if they want to go for
MC
the
Smoke gets broken. He needs to get the hell out of here.
Blinks out.
Pakaz is so tanky in this game. The key for OG to killing this Naga is that they need to chain stun her and they need Ursa to be uninterrupted, just hitting her start to finish. which EG can't really do too much about. They don't have the best protection for the Naga from the supports. They have Blinding Light, but that's not going to work if Ursa's BKB'd. They don't have, let's say, like an E-Blade or a Wind Waker. But that could be something worth considering somewhere down the line, actually.
Smoke's going to break. MC knows that they're in the area. The crush onto C-Smile, but he blinks away. And on top of the gate, several members of EG are just waiting. C-Smile focusing his efforts now. But looks like Whisper and C-Smile going to focus on BZM, who pops his BKB. Stone Gaze being used pretty early in the fight. As this fight is completely broken up. Panda is going to get taken out by BZM eventually, but Paka is getting chased by MC and Yuragi, and they get a very valuable kill. BZM will be the trade on the other side because of the segregation of this fight. Very awkward engagement overall. Yuragi still wants to fight, but the halberd applied to him. There's the buyback onto the CM. Now, trying to take out Whisper, but he can't attack yet. Finally does, and that's when it starts to hurt. Double kill for Yuragi. They're going to buy back on the Venomancer as well. And Panda, this is going to be a dieback for him. TP's coming into the outpost, though. BKB popped by Yuragi, so they forced that out at the very least.
The Naga buyback is huge.
MC,
OG are so happy if they get out of this.
Uses a Lotus Flower. Does not have a teleportation scroll, though.
They have no idea he's here. It's a nice little.
We should mention
Roche.
He's laughing that he does not. Yeah, be quiet, everybody. Be quiet. He's not here. Oh, maybe they'll know with the laughter. We'll see. Roche will be spawning in 20 seconds, so this could be a big pivotal moment in the game.
Loving the hush there. That's good. Yeah, so I think actually. It's easy to say in hindsight, but I think a pretty critical mistake from Pakaz there, that when he uses Song of the Siren, I think he needs to run to his teammates.
And he's out of there.
So if you think back on how that fight played out, Pakaz gets off a song, and his entire team was fighting Void Spirit on the right, and Pakaz ran left. So when the song ended, all of OG could just pile on him, and he had no protection, and that's exactly what Ursa wants. Ursa and Slar just made quick work of him. Now Taiga.
He's dusted though. C-Smile going to work. There's a frostbite to keep him in place. Gale as well. Taiga looks to be all but dead. But the big crush coming in. The Envoy was used. They're going to try to turn the sides on the C-Smile, but looks like he will survive. Taiga did buy back in this. They do have a 13k lead right now, but this next Roche is very important, especially if it's killed on this side, because this is the Aghanim Scepter Roche.
And Pakaz needs this Aegis too, because he bought back before. So this is very, very big if they can get it. OG will probably do something about this. You would imagine they're expecting this to happen, but
they do have to fight every song. This is pretty hard.
Yeah, Pakaz could just sing when it's low for protection. Let's see if he will. Whisper's going to block it off.
MC. Whisper getting gone on. Pops the Ghost Scepter, but Kaz does get the Aegis, they get the Axe, they get everything. OG, do they just want to back away? MC taking the gate. Yuragi might not have a choice in the matter. Pops the Enrage. Going to work on Pakaz, doing a lot of damage, actually. Remember, the song is down. Fight has gone to the top side now, as Kitrak will be taken out by C-Smile's AM. And Taiga, this might be a dieback for him. A nice Aether Remnant from BZM, keeping C-Smile in place, but will be pursuing Taiga nonetheless. This will be a dieback for the Bounty Hunter from OG. They lose 3 overall, and EG gets so much out of this, and they're not done yet. Yes, they are. That was an illusion.
That was a 13k gold lead cut down to 2. So they get 4,200 from the, or no, they get 6k rather, right? From the Roche synth, the Ag synth that they get there, and then find some additional kills, and they choose to put the accent on the anti-mage, so now he has blink fragment. He's going to keep sending these fragments. I would imagine the Medusa, or try to cancel blinks from Ursa, or cancel blinks from Slardar, and just overall be a huge nuisance with this. I wonder if there was a better Ags in this game. Probably not, right? Like it seems like a very solid choice. Yeah. You could make a case for Naga to take it with the ensnare, but
Coddles isn't too bad either, as the defense is being mounted by OG. They pop the fortification to somehow defend against the Aegis and Cheese with the newly picked up Aghanim Scepter on AM. Pakaz, rush from MC. You see his shard going to work. It puts that temporary amplified damage onto them. Pakaz at half HP, not too worried though, as they're not going to focus down on the building. So tier 3 tower falls in favor of EG. Now they're focusing on the barracks. Be careful with these blink fragments as well from C-Smile. There's the crush initiation. But OG backing away again. The range racks fell. They'll be able to defend the melee as EG back away.
It's very awkward for OG to engage on these cores because Anti-Mage now has AC, so he's negating a lot of the corrosive haze, and he has the cheese, and Naga has the Aegis. And in order to kill either of these heroes, I think it's impossible for the Dire lineup to kill either of them without the Ursa. He's all of their damage against these guys. Void Spirit is definitely falling off. He has this one burst with his Astral Step, and that's pretty much it. Slardar is going to be missing a huge amount of his attacks because both enemy heroes have about 35% evasion, and they're both so inherently tanky. So honestly, this looks really, really hard for OG to approach this upcoming fight with the mounting advantages. And Yuragi basically can't afford to make any single misstep in the fight, or he's just going to get slowed down and controlled. Good crush here from MC. Will put some hazes on them.
But a lot of his mana, Nullifier applied as well. But Pakaz, he's taking heavy damage from the Fury swipes. They'll buy him some space. Still 2 minutes on that Aegis, but obviously does not want to waste it without at least getting a set of barracks. But he's going to get initiated on that. Is the Aegis down? Does OG have anything left in the tank? Kitrak out of mana completely. Another crush from MC, pops the BKB. The focus is all on Pakaz. A big mana boy comes out to take out the Medusa, but Pakaz is dead. 100 seconds with no buyback. Aether Remnant cancels out that freezing field. Double kill for Yuragi. And remember, these are track kills as well, so everything very valuable on the side of OG. Looks like the Kata will be taken out in OG's base. See Smile on the run, being pursued by MC, but he should be able to get out.
Is he actually going to chase? He's
MC's
just waving at him in the river.
He wants that high five. He won't stop until he gets it. 10K lead for OG. That's an 8K swing because of the track kills.
That was always going to be a hard defense, but OG just did it perfectly. They get the double crush, they follow up with the Ursa, and what OG recognizes, the way to do this is to go in 2 waves. They have to go on the Naga first, get Fury Swipe stacks up, and then re-go whenever possible and make use of those previous stacks. And they didn't really get to force as much out of Yuragi as I would have expected on the Aegis. So on the second life, he can pop absolutely everything. And you have these 3 BKBs running against the Song, so they can't keep Pakaz alive. Really, really well done by OG there. In a tough situation, they make basically all the perfect calls to stabilize that fight.
I assume that's MC. Okay, no, that's from earlier. Nice try, production. MC does smile a lot during the game, though, so good to see him back. Well, I guess he never left technically, but you know what I mean. Kitrak, look at how much mana is taken from him just from one fragment. Yeah. That is so annoying to deal with. But OG able to get a tier 2 tower now. Obviously, the Roche will not be back for quite a while. So the question is, what can OG take with this last fight? I mean, they get a lot of neutrals. They expand the lead from 8 to 12K just during that time. That's one thing we never really mention is when you win these fights late game and you have to wait for these timers, you're going to be able to farm a hell of a lot more than EG.
Yep. Yuragi's going to go and take, I would imagine, a 4th.
Yeah. That is a shard for BZM. So the full shard completion from OG. And that one's kind of weird, actually, the Void Spirit one. The 8th Remnant. The watch range only pulls heroes, so that's good in a crowd. Does that work on illusions, though? That's my question.
I just had the weirdest brain fart of my entire life. I just called a Tormentor an inhibitor because we talked about inhibit earlier on Diffusal.
They could have done that.
That's amazing. What do you know? He didn't inhibit it, and by the way, it's not called inhibit anymore. It's called suppress now because he has the upgraded one.
Oh, yeah.
Then it gets a new name. So, what do you know?
Okay. He's suppressing the...
MC said in the interview they wanted to suppress them, so they've itemized for it.
Yeah, we might see 2 in this game for the first time ever. It is not a super popular item.
Smoke coming out from OG. 5-man looking for a big rotation here. Obviously, the next Roche is probably the game decider at this point. We're 40 minutes in, and we've seen how volatile the lineups are getting at this point. So if OG, the goal is, we've seen the recipe for success here. It is poke the Naga with the Ursa, reset, go again while your swipe stacks are running. And the question is if EG can itemize to try to protect the Naga a bit better.
All right, gonna crash on Matthew to start this out. Ghost Scepter's there. It looks like MC has to pop his BKB, but the ensnare still goes through, attempting to TP out. Mana Void does not go through that anymore. Good attempt.
Close call.
It's Yuragi able to get out as well, so no kills for EG. And I don't think Yuragi was level 25 in that last fight, if I'm not mistaken, but he now has the 3 overpower attacks, so we'll see if he even needs to reset before just taking out the Naga. If you're able to get the
नहीं,
double
मेरे से तो
overpower,
support खेल
as
रही
it
है,
were,
देखते हैं क्या
cooldown
है
ready
उसके
to
नहीं
go.
अभी तो farm करना
If he
पड़ेगा
gets a volley
जग
of
मार
18
के
attacks
इसको
through, he's in a very, very good spot for sure. And
हाँ,
again, the question is, what do you itemize? I think maybe, yeah, what are the solutions? You can't, I mean, oh, hang on, Taiga almost died. Is this just going to be a classic? Almost dying there to the Tormentor.
So they killed it and got gold, right? And also denies it from EG, who
have shown a lot of interest in them so far.
Yeah, they have not given a shit. That's for sure. They got one, right? Or
did they?
Were they all stolen?
Maybe they got one. I don't know if they even got one.
That's another thing. We just need the UI. Yeah, let's just scroll through the entire game.
I don't think they got one.
Looks like all the shards were OGs.
Yeah.
And the question is, were there any shards that EG could have gotten that would be a big difference maker here? We've obviously seen the recall, but
I guess the best solution they have for their Naga is honestly 4 staffs, but they only have one on the CM. I think, yep, they're buying one on Veno, so they're making the same judgment call here that. But even then, he's just going to be. He's going to be dispersered, right? That's called suppressed,
dispersered,
as we've established.
Not going to remember that. Track coming out. They tried to get a blind dust on the Taiga, knowing that that would make a huge difference, taking him out of the fight before it starts, as Roche is available.
Can you... Is there some sort of logic here that you feel like the Ursa can't have both Nullifier and Disperser, so the 4-staff is actually going to be valuable because he can't make space for it in his build? Like... I guess the Nullifier is on the Void Spirit, but he can't always connect with the Ursa on the plane necessarily if they do a good job with AM, for example, at boxing out BZM in the start of the fight. Maybe that's the logic here, is that it's the best item we have to reposition and protect our Naga. We can't really do it with much else.
Big fight coming. Again, EG occupying the gate area for that high ground defense, potentially for this Roche. Panda initiate on, gets the Ghost Scepter off, though. Immediate stun onto MC, but Panda's getting gone on by BZM, blown up right off the bat. Hiragi pops his BKB along with the Enrage and trying to reset things, and Stone Gaze keeping them in place, but there's the song. Because could have attacked BZM, now gonna try to turn this around. Mana Void is there, but another Enrage comes out. Hiragi staying alive, now focusing down C-Smile, he's dead. 2 for 1, BZM lost his life as Pekaz. He's getting quite low, gets bashed. Can they actually finish him off though? It's gonna be close, yes! He has to buy back into the game. They can TP to this outpost as well as Yuragi. Extremely low AP. See Smile, he just bought back. You cannot fight here. They finally take out the bear. Kitrak will fall as well as OG members starting to fall like flies. 3 dead, 2 buybacks on 2 cores for OG. We'll see if they buy back anymore. The only one that cannot buy back is Kitrak on the Medusa. And this is another potential Roche. And again, this is the Aghanim Scepter Roche. So more net worth, one of the pockets of EG, as it looks like OG will just chill.
And the huge difference maker here is just the inherent advantage that Radiant has in this spot by being able to buy back TP, right? It makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
OG were crushing this fight, but they just lose to buybacks. And they will lose Roche. This will be an Ags on the Naga, so now has the incredible reel in addition to being able to ensnare Spell Immune or sleeping units.
Terrific.
Which makes for some interesting potential outplays against the BKBs. He'll also be, as it looks, completing a heart. He's big.
Yeah, he is.
I thought OG were actually going to win the game there, but just the sheer number of buybacks on the Radiant side did make the big difference there for EG.
Yeah, I think
now
all but one Roche, I want to say, have been on the Radiant side so far.
I think, yeah, you're right. The first one went to OG, but EG have managed to get the other ones. And now they're going to be knocking on the front door again. And it feels like this time it's going to be harder for OG than the previous time. Naga got a lot tankier since the previous high ground push. And I don't know if OG's damage has scaled to match, really. Maybe it has. We'll see soon enough, because I don't think EG are going to give up this map position at any point here. They're going to keep constricting this area.
Yeah, we only have 4 buybacks in the game, 3 of which are on OG's side, but of course Aegis and Cheese are with EG.
Abyssal Blade flying out now for C-Smile. It's also a huge pickup. Doesn't have the Manta, but he has the Blink Fragments, so he can pretend he has a Manta. Can throw in a couple of fragments, and if the enemy hero doesn't move, he can Blink Abyssal.
And then second Disperser has been completed, this one for
Manta चाहिए मेरे को तो लगता है
I've personally never seen 2 in the same game.
Same.
एक कूड़ा आएगा.
Yuragi getting some harassment here. Oh, whoa!
Okay, double crush. Beautiful astral set from BZM with that newly picked up Daedalus. The Venomancer is donezo. Cannot buy back in the game. He's fighting forward, but the Aegis advantage still on the side of EG as Taiga getting gone on inside this Will-O-Wisp. Looks like he will fall eventually.
Yuragi's out of
setting
mana.
up 2 more potential kills here for EG. Do they have the setup? There's the jump in. Yuragi gets off the enrage because gonna get the nullifier off on Yuragi. Gonna attempt to get away as Taiga not able to go invis to get his stun off in the meantime. Double buyback now from OG as MC taking so much damage. Looks like he is eventually going to get dropped as well, but does have buyback. And on the doorstep as C-Smile pops the cheese to stay alive. Yuragi forced the BKB and retreat.
Holy shit, that Ursa hits so
We have 1 buyback available in this game right now.
Oh, wow. Crazy fight, but yeah, 3 buybacks from OG. You should be very happy with this one if you're EG, if you can just calm things down. Did Pakaz? I think he tried to ensnare the Ursa after the song ended, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway because he had Lincolns on him. But the crucial save there is something you wanted to see all tournament. Guess what that was? Taiga shadow walked the Ursa with his shard.
Hell yeah.
Actually, a bounty hunter using it on teammates.
Boy.
And they did not have detection on the Naga to stay on Yuragi, so Taiga really saving the day there for his carry. If Yuragi would have died, this would have been terrible. I think he wouldn't have had buyback. Obviously, he doesn't. He has cooldown on it. That could have ended the game, but 1 Shadow Walk cast can make all the difference. Pakaz still with the Aegis, though, so if EG do fancy their chances, they could look for another fight. They'd expend the cheese on AM, so we'll not have that this time around. And you saw he basically got 5-shot by the Ursa. Very quick reaction on the cheese there to make it out.
And that's the scary thing. Even with the cheese, you still have to blink away because the Fury swipes are still going to be on you, and they last a very long time.
How long is it, actually? 40 seconds.
Yeah.
40 seconds. Yeah, sure, it's fine.
From OG's side, it's all about going in and out and just, you don't want to blow everything right away. And on the side of EG, the Aegis is about to expire in less than a minute, so they're going to try to take a fight.
If this fight breaks out very, very soon, this Aegis can come in handy, but Taiga doing Taiga's job.
Yep.
No
Blink
killing for
fragment
it.
him, though. Inhibit to follow. Nullifier now. They have the ensnare as well. And it looks like he's going to drop in.
He doesn't have buyback.
No buyback. So just like
5v4.
that, 5v4, EG advantage. 6 if you want to count the Aegis, but like we said, that will expire shortly.
And I was going to say easily the most expendable hero, or the
They
Dire.
actually want to fight MC with the initiation onto C-Smile, forced after the high ground, but there's the song to counteract it. Try to focus him down while the BKB is up. It finally ends. Freezing field on top of them. MC is dead as well.
If he
2
bashes
down
here-
for OG. BZM able to TP out, but still, it's a 3v5 defense now, as EG are going to be knocking on the door.
मुझे लगता है EG जीतेगा.
They still technically don't have a full set of racks yet, but they will get more than one at the very least as Kit Rack has to deal with these annoying illusions.
I mean, this
The
has
mid
to
lane
be
is the way
Megas,
of
right? You
EG.
can't fight without Corrosive Haze. It's such a big part of your strategy for OG. Can you possibly do this? Pakaz.
He wants to get those stacks up. This is about going in and out. Nullifier applied, actually gets reflected, it looks like, thanks to that Lotus. This will be a second racks for EG. They just need to try and defend, but 60 seconds without mind control. This will be a tall task. In fact, they might just have to fight once that bounty comes up.
Well, the top tier 2 tower is still standing, so there's a bit more time, but it should still be a flat-out 5v4. This Radiant lineup could take the rest of the base before the Slaughter respawns, so see if they can come up with any sort of defense here. Maybe EG are a little bit hesitant, actually. I mean, obviously, getting the Mega Creeps here is great, but it's the buyback status that's the most dangerous in this game. Naga doesn't have enough gold.
Yeah.
So maybe you just don't take the risk, farm the map, make sure you have your buybacks before you go for the killing blow. Maybe you could get another Roche as well in a few minutes. This could come back to bite them if they go high. I actually really like the call to not do it at this point.
Yeah,
Make sure you
some
have the
discipline.
advantages you need.
Definitely showing some discipline, which South America notoriously in the past have not shown, but we've seen in the last few years they have upped the ante as it were. And
many a game have been lost on high ground overconfidence with 2 lanes down.
We literally cast a couple of them in this tournament, so.
Yep.
But the question is delaying it opening up the door for OG potentially as well, because maybe they could go for the Roche when that's eventually up in the next minute.
You probably feel pretty good about forcing a Roche fight if that's going to be the end of the game, just because you have Naga, and especially if it happens in the next few minutes, so it's daytime. It's so important for the game, whether the Roche spawns at day and night, or night, because of the teleport advantage you have as Radiant bottom half. OG on the flip side would love for this Roche to wait until minute 55 so that they can buy back and TP to top to take the fights there.
So for it to be spawning in the top side of the map, it needs to be a max duration timer for Roche, which would be 3 minutes.
And the earliest one is in 30 seconds, so if EG have even average luck on top of Chris luck, then they can get it before OG can get that advantage. But I don't know if they'll have... Okay, so Naga has buyback available, but not enough gold. Pakaz needs another 200. Buyback status is everything right now.
All right, I believe EG will get their first Tormentor of the game. Keeper gets it, so
52 minutes.
Yeah.
They have recall, look at that.
Very nice. Could have been useful 30 minutes ago, but hey, what's to say?
It's also useful now.
All right, Roche timer, 1.5 minutes. So that's going to be basically another minute and a half on top of that, while Roche will be in the Radiant side on the bottom of the map.
If EG keeps scouting this pit and they're in formation and ready, they can absolutely force this fight on their terms with Naga buyback available. So which buybacks do they not have? Only CM, but she's getting the gold now. So EG with a full lineup of buybacks. OG have 3 of them unavailable for 2 minutes. So the timing is actually perfect, but keep in mind the teams don't have access to this information, and there's absolutely, I would say there's no way they know these exact breakdowns of how these things are happening. So it is going to be a lot on playing on gut feel. And OG know how important this is. They're already starting to corral to the bottom area and starting to get some sort of control here. Taiga will show on Ob's Sentry combo, and looks like C-Smile is fancying a move here. I think this is a bit dangerous to TP in there.
BZM
will get out.
Opening. Not going to find it initially. Aether Remnant does connect on the Venom, but he's going to get Frostbit. Mana's being burned. More illusions being spawned. He's going to dissimulate away. Will-O-Wisp was popped from EG's side.
Yeah, he can get that again soon with some chakras, though, so not the end of the world for him.
At 20 seconds on Roche. And I mean, the other opportunity for OG is to just defend this area, this high ground at all costs for a minute without killing Roche, because that'll be too hard.
It's so hard to zone control against Veno, though.
Yeah, and Naga as well.
Good jump.
Getting initiated on a nice jump. C-Smile getting really low. They burst him down. Will buyback and has the outpost control as well. They're going to take out the Naga as well. Again, buyback coming through for EGs. They are getting completely wiped. What in God's green earth is happening right now? They will mass TP onto this outpost. Now the pressure is on. OG, they're going to lose their Medusa to start this out. The second version of the fight is MC getting extremely low as well. He will fall in addition. Buyback came onto the Ursa as OG need to get the hell out of here. Roche is now available. Looks like Taiga will dodge it all and be able to live.
All it takes is just a small moment of opportunity there for OG. The 2 enemy cores stacking on top of each other at the gate. The Naga and AM stood just held hands, and that's just not... That is not advisable in that moment. Again, EG with the buybacks will save this, but now that they've used them, all of them, more or less, that was all 5. They've used all their 5 buybacks, so now sure, you might get an Aegis and a Cheese, but can you actually still high ground with confidence?
Yeah.
I don't know. OG only used the Ursa one. They're going to have a couple more to give on the defense.
It is the Venom.
This whole situation from EG can be completely averted if those 2 cores don't stack, I think. But it just gives OG such a perfect moment of opportunity to just pile on them and burst them down. And this is...
All right.
This would usually mark the end of the game with these items. 2 racks down.
No.
Aegis Cheese, but
no.
I don't know.
The buybacks are on the side of OG now.
Exactly.
And EG will be in their base, presumably.
And Slardar is close to buyback too. He just needs 500 gold. So if they can somehow find that for him on the map, either by letting him farming some waves coming into base, or if they can get a couple bounty runes, whatever it is it's going to take.
Yuragi, level 28 now.
Incorrect. He's not
29 now. I mean, if he gets that 30 talent, we were talking about this with Faith Beyond.
This is a really
and
good talent.
Rage
This
provides half benefits to allies in 700 radius is pretty freaking powerful if used correctly.
And
Obviously, it doesn't have the exact build for it.
And it says Enrage, but it should also work with this shard on Earthshock, right? Because then you also cast something called Enrage. So effectively, there is a build on Ursa where you go Octarine Core and abuse this mechanic. I don't think that's happening in this game at any point. This late end, but okay.
For the opening
Smile.
again, Taiga's going to be spotted though.
Yes, buyback.
He does. That's a freebie for EG. So the attempted backstab from OG not successful this time.
Fishing for info. See Smile. Sending in an illusion on K-Track.
These illusions just get decimated by BZM, but there's more where that came from. Even against Megas, I feel like OG can still technically defend, but we'll see how much they're going to put into this defense. Fragments coming. Very annoying to deal with. As Pakaz poking the range racks ever so slowly. There's the buyback onto Taiga. Yuragi and MC trying to initiate. They pop the BKBs and the Enrage. The Veno's dead without buyback. C-Smile now focusing on Yuragi, but he gets the Lotus Orb applied to him. Will-O-Wisp is going to be destroyed pretty swiftly. Yuragi completely out of mana, though. Do they have the backup? They force staff him to safety. He's A-OK. Now the focus on the bounty hunter. This will be a buyback for Taiga. Dieback, that is. Indeed, he goes down, so it's a 4v4. Aegis still intact for EG. Still poking that range racks, which will not regenerate.
Yeah, he's going to take this one down. Medusa cannot defend this on her own. But the melee is going to be hard to claim, and you have to respect the burst potential that these Dire Heroes have. But keep in mind, BKBs were expended from Slardar and Ursa, which gives Naga total power play with Song of the Siren here. Song of the Siren into Will-O-Wisp could actually be a viable combo in this situation.
Wants to initiate, gets the crush only on one though. Now he's going to get ensnared, but there's Lotus. Yuragi jumps in, focusing all his effort onto Pakaz, who's already at half HP. He has to go away now. Has to be careful because of that Will-O-Wisp.
Hex
on BZM getting control. Man avoided down. Does have buyback though. Will certainly expend it if EG go any further.
Keep in mind, Pakaz has Aegis, so I don't know if this play even exists to begin with from OG. I don't think you're killing this Naga twice like this. Well, they're going to try.
Well, the Fury Swipes will persist. Something obviously to keep in mind. There's the buyback from BZM.
It's time to chill for Pakaz for 40 seconds now. Let those Fury Swipes run out. Taking an extra 735 damage per hit right now. It's a lot.
Ooh. And we are approaching the coveted 60-minute time, which you know, my favorite time of the game.
Yep.
I
will end in a minute
25,
Shannon.
What's that?
Unfortunately for you, the game will end in a minute 25, so you can dream all you want.
Yeah, it might. It might.
I think there's a very good chance it doesn't. These items will probably be coming out. Pakaz Aegis 1 minute left. EG will not push high ground without this. I just refuse to believe they're going to do that and take that risk. So it's either now or you're going to wait, get those tier 5s, try to get the Roche. But okay, maybe they will actually go.
Only two buybacks exist right now on OG's side.
55 seconds.
And Kit Rack support Medusa. Melee Rack's at half HP. Just got to kill these illusions. Never-ending wall of illusions! Ursa! Yuragi will live thanks to the Enrage. Will-O-Wisp being very annoying right now. BZM pops the BKB. He's going to get bashed inside of that. Will dissimulate to safety. MC already popped his BKB now, so they're running out of items. BZM pops his refresher in the meantime, though. As Illuminate's coming in, he's getting controlled again. He's going to die!
No buyback.
Essentially a dieback for BZM, as this will be mega creeps for EG. Will the game end now? 5v4. Still with Aegis, but only for 20 more seconds. Pakaz going in very deep. C-Smile. Taiga's dead. Dieback for him. Poison Nova goes off thanks to Whisper's Ags. To jump in now from Yuragi, but he's gonna get sheep. A huge mana void. Holy Jesus, GG's called. EG, we're not gonna make it to 60 minutes. I jinxed it.
I was 5 seconds off with the 1 minute 25, but can't say I had a good reason to feel confident about it.
So
it was one or the other there for
EG.
Either you push in with that 1 minute left on the Aegis, or you have to back off and reset. And they make the call, you know what, this is our power spike, this is our last timing until we have to effectively take a kind of big risk by backing off in a way. Because when the Aegis expires, you're giving OG that moment of opportunity. That didn't let them have it, and they go in with the Naga first and clean up. What a great game.
That was hype. We saw a mid anti-mage.
Oh yeah, let's remember what game we just watched.
A position 5 Medusa. Nobody on the panel knew what was going on. None of us here knew what was going on. The players, I'm sure, had no idea what was going on because that first 5 minutes was entertaining all in its own because of the switch